Welcome everyone on this beautiful Saturday morning, afternoon, depending where you are in the world. I am Dainu Atari, and I am graciously with the one, the only B-Dude Games. Dos Farrell is having a little bit of an issue with her PC, but we're hoping she can join us later on.
It's going to be a great run today.
Alright, so if everyone's ready, we'll get this run going. 3, 2, 1, go.
I anticipate only the best things to happen today.
Anticipate only the worst.
So right now we just set it up so we go for the slowest ATB building in the battle. It only affects the enemies. So it doesn't affect us at all, but it makes it so that we can manipulate the fights a little bit more so that the enemies get less attacks. And then faster text battle speed because it's faster.
Alright, first run ender averted. The two idiots ran away. In this beginning, because we really want to give Question Mark Girl, just want to give her the best lease on life. So we're going to be trying to funnel all the experience to her, which the game handles run kind of a lot different than the other Final Fantasy games. Is you have to have full ATB and you have to meet a run difficulty check. So every enemy at this point in the game effectively adds 2 to the run difficulty. And the game checks for run every 2 seconds. So there is a certain point where, even though we're definitely going to meet the run requirement, we might not meet the run check, just because it's in a very weird spot. It's not the end of the world, we're just going to lose our step route very early on, but thankfully there's a couple of reset points in the run where we can get back on it.
Man, you got pincer already? That is terribly unfortunate.
I know, like, already a bad start. Should just reset and try again.
So there's a couple of spots here, or a couple enemies along the way that do have no run flags. So Dine's making sure to kill them so that we can actually get the runaway. Once Terra actually goes in, or Question Mark Girl does her big bio blast. The Lobos in the last fight had the no run flag as well as the full mammoths here. And if you were to kill them last, the no run flag would still be around until right near the end of the battle, where we wouldn't be able to have the idiots run away. So that's why we target them right away.
For a pincer attack, if the enemies don't have a no-run flag, you only need to kill one side of the encounter, and then you can run away from the other side. It's not one of those things where it's... Because you'll see the can't run pop up if you try to run if there's enemies occupying both sides. That's just because you're kind of sandwiched in. But once you free up a path, you're good to go.
Usually. There's a few encounters where it's just better off to fight it out, honestly. So here we have another run ender we like to call Welk. Basically, the whole idea of Welk is we want Terra to get 3 tech missiles on the head, but we're also going to be doing a thing called counter-canceling on the shell. Since after a certain amount of time, the shell's going to have full ATB, it starts at 0. We are going to do exactly what we're told not to do and attack it right when its ATB bar gets filled. When we attack when the ATB bar gets filled, it does a counterattack. And its ATB bar will actually be stuck for a good 15 seconds or so until it can finally do its actual turn again after the counter. So this allows us to prevent Guru. Assuming we don't get really bad damage rolls.
Question Mark Girl, even with that heal force, her HP is not looking the best.
Looking a little suspect. I can't say I've seen her die on that fight, but we got close.
I haven't seen her that low in quite a while. So because of the memory cursor, we're putting Question Mark Girl on fire just for the next segment coming up. It's a lot of the things in FF6 speedrunning is really small time saves of abusing the memory cursor by having your character set up on abilities they need long before they actually need to use them. No, and it doesn't save a lot of time. It does make some of the battles a little more convenient.
And there'll definitely be times where you actively think about it and you're trying to work around a bunch of things, but there's also a lot of things, once you've done enough runs, you don't even realize you're doing it. You just kind of just do it because it just feels right. It's like walking sometimes. Oh boy, we finished Arvis percent.
Yay! SPR is very upset. What is any percent sketch? Any percent sketch is beating the game with every glitch at your disposal outside of the 52 death glitch and new game plus glitches. So we'll be abusing the sketch glitch much later on in life to skip a large chunk of the game. Sketch and no sketch are divided because they're cartridge specific. Sketch can only be done on a 1.0 cart. Since the sketch glitch was encountered by so many casual players, Square Enix rolled out a 1.1 cart. And that ended up fixing the sketch glitch, but left every other bug and glitch in the game uninterrupted. I wouldn't say sketch is the biggest game breaker. Bringing
It's the most
over...
unknown one.
It's a bigger one, but I'd say probably bringing the Jador timer into a new game is probably a lot bigger game breaker. Just because it allows you to beat the game in roughly 20 minutes.
So one thing we didn't really go over, Dine was doing some prep before we actually started here, manipulating his seed so that we can walk through this game with our step route. That consists of, how many resets did you have to do today?
11 overworld and 3 save screens.
That's not even too bad, actually.
No, it's because you got a couple of extra resets in. Because like we do the one at Opera, or the one at Returners, one at Opera, and then one before in Tangier, and then 2 after in Tangier. So thankfully the run's already pushing us a little bit closer to the starting point.
Step basically lets us know not just where we're going to get each encounter, but we know what the encounters are going to be, aside from, I guess in this run, just the Serpent Trench. We don't know exactly which encounter we're going to get, but we know what packs of ones we could get. So we already know what's coming down the road, unless we, for some reason, fall off amazingly, but I don't anticipate that happening. Right?
I make no promises. Walking on the overworld is hard.
Well, I guess there's at least one instance where I can't even blame you for it. But it's not going to happen. So we take this extra fight here just to get Terra to level 6. This teaches her Antidote, which is cool, but actually what happens is, since Locke is going to join the party at +2 levels, getting that one extra level there means that he comes in one extra level higher, and then it kind of snowballs for when we get Edgar and Sabin as well, for literally the cost of one extra fight.
And thankfully with the way the seed works is that extra fight's very quick to initiate as well. So levels are kind of important in the game for survivability, but your level also plays into the damage formula. Just because you don't get any natural stat growth on level ups. All your stat growths are pretty much cubbyholed to the Esper bonuses. So even though like you're going through the game, like even up to Zozo, your damage will increase just because your level's getting higher. But once you get access to the Esper bonuses, if you use them correctly, you can break the game wide open very easily. So we grab the sleeping bag. you can skip it in this run. It's an extra 250 GP. You just do have to burn a couple of extra steps before that last encounter. It's really just a trade-off of opening up the chest with its text animations.
Yeah, since we have to burn those steps anyways to get that last encounter. She looks sleepy.
She
I'm
does.
sure she's fine.
She just got out of bed too. She probably just didn't get enough from talking to the giant frozen Esper.
You didn't even try to input a bum rush before
I
the
did.
Esper. That's amazing.
You know what? I wanted to give Sabin a heads up.
Nice.
I couldn't get Phantasy Star 4 in, but I'm still bringing Chaz in. I'm pretty sure I just doomed the run.
I'm glad that we can just keep our disappointments tied together.
So in most runs, Locke is a big disappointment because Steel is level-based, and we're going to be very, very low level for a large chunk of the game. Thankfully, we don't really need to Steel with Locke in this run, but he can still end up being a disappointment from time to time.
Yeah, I guess you don't have to in this run. There you go. If you guys want to still like Locke and speedrun this game, sketches for you.
Yep. So something funny to note, at the start of the game, all the characters outside of Terra are level 0 Tinas with the Edgar Sellis palette. So they got beautiful blonde hair and a green outfit. This is just because the Edgar Sellis palette is palette 0. And then at the start of this Moogle segment, all the characters turn into Moogles. And then once you've named them, is when their actual character data is being used. Which will kind of be showing that off in this run in about an hour.
So there's a fun little thing you can do in this game where there's only a few spots where we actually have NPCs moving on the screen like such, but you can actually walk right past them in the middle of their movement patterns. It's I wouldn't even call it a manipulation, let alone a glitch. It's more just like an exploit of their actual movements. But it means we can get here. Okay, you're good.
I was kind of holding the breath for a second.
If Mog gets netted here, you get to sit there and just think about life decisions for a long time, because we need to steal his pike, and don't think the Mithril Shield is required in this run, but it's still a nice chunk of change.
Yeah, it sells for 600 GP. It's a pretty big chunk of money for very little work. So the only reason we take off Mog's equipment, not anyone else's, is Mog occupies his own character data slot. If we could, we would probably unequip all the Moogles. They just have very good equipment for this part of the game, and it sells for a good chunk of money. But sadly, we're stuck with Mog, which is still good, because the Mithril Pike is about 40 attacks stronger than Edgar's starting Mithril Blade, which is a very big damage increase.
Which means now Locke can also get that Mithril Blade, and that is a lot stronger than the Dirk that he starts with.
You upgrade from a butter knife to an actual sword.
Now let's not get it twisted. That doesn't mean he gets super useful or anything. He's just less useless. And I will stand by this forever and always.
A lot of the step route only matters for where you can get encounters. So things like town movement, chocobo movement, Figaro Castle, you can really just walk wherever you want. You're just going to lose a small bit of time. Overworld movement is by far the little bit of the trickiest parts. There is something on the overworld called no encounter tiles. For some reason, they don't show up on a map editor, where when the light green grass touches the dark green grass, you don't generate any threat. So with the step route, we obviously try to hit as many of them as we can just to push back those encounters. So even though dungeons are very much point A to point B, overworld will look a little funky at times, and it's just for that reason.
There's also going to be a few no encounter tiles in some dungeons here and there. We don't always try to hit them, but we'll point them out because I think there's one for sure that we need to hit. And it's actually kind of hard to tell what it actually is when we get there. I'm actually excited to see what... Do you have names for almost everyone?
No, I'm picking them off the top of my head.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Sorry, I've been away, but we were having some setup issues.
Arrow! Welcome on in.
I've played this game before. I've never ran it, but if I want to... If I'm ever going to run it, it's going to be this category. This category is great.
It's also the shortest one aside from New Game Plus and 52 Death.
Yeah, I'd say it's the shortest of the honest categories this game has, because New Game Plus and 52 Death are not honest.
Yo, New Game Plus is totally honest. I love watching 9 minutes of cutscenes in my 20-minute run. It's probably more than that if I actually sat down and timed it.
Like, if you think we are going to break the game, New Game Plus just, like, makes meat out of it. It's glorious.
So because we start on a specific seed, the NPC value is set. NPC values basically, they dictate a lot in the game. That little memory address does a lot of work. But in this instance, it dictates how the NPCs move, more specifically the Chancellor before talking to Edgar. So by me wasting 2 steps there, since my walking here has been perfect, by just taking those 2 extra steps, it saves a small bit of time, but it makes sure that the Chancellor isn't going to stop us from progression. He's going to just stay on the left side of the screen, out of our way. It'll be a beautiful walk.
This would be really awkward if he was in fact not or in your way.
I know somehow it's running when I'm inputting the names. I'm just like, well, I lied to the children.
I like Sabin being Bojo Dine. I really like it.
So what I'm getting out of this is I'm currently maidenless. Is this how this works? Edgar's just sitting there. You named Edgar me. I'm just sitting there by myself. Trying to say something?
I named you Edgar because you're the king.
Aww.
Alright, I guess I'm blushing here.
I'll swoon.
I was thinking we're gonna go with like a dude's a tool type thing, and then you threw that at me. No. I got nothing.
No, I'm the tool. I've had so many people call me a tool before.
But at least you're useful.
Mm-hmm. Hey, the king is also useful.
Yeah, Edgar's going to be doing some good work. So there's a small glitch you can do. If you talk to the left and right soldier within 1 frame of each other, you kind of have like a little bit of a staring contest. It does save 2 frames because it saves them from looking forward towards Edgar and then down to Kefka. Not needed, but it is kind of cool just to see every now and then.
I just like them staring lovingly into each other's eyes.
Yep. So funny enough, even though we've named Sabin here, Sabin's the only character to my knowledge that doesn't get access to his special ability until you've reached a story plot. So if you use something like the airship glitch, you can name Sabin early, you can get Sabin early, but you don't unlock Blitz until the Vargas fight. So it is kind of cool to skip naming Sabin and then just have a Moogle suplex the Phantom Train.
Well, that would be even better. Why aren't we doing that?
Because the airship glitch involves me playing like 3/4 of the game and then dying.
Oh. Feels bad, man.
It's a pretty lengthy setup outside of using like the 52 death glitch, but dying for 20 minutes is not visually pleasing either.
Aw. I don't know. We're playing a lot of RPGs. I think some people here like grinding, but I guess not that much.
I think the real marvel is how did they catch stone on fire?
True.
Put oil on top of it. I know technically the stone isn't on fire, but it looks like it would be.
If I can actually watch this, but it almost never works. Oh my god, it's working. Close the streams. I can watch this in real time!
Oh, fabulous days.
So we're almost out of the super cutscene story building beginning here. Then we're about to start to get into some meat and taters of at least the early game.
Yeah, we're about to go into a fight, but it's a pretty simple one. Because even though we're on the chocobos, for some reason the Magitech armor are faster.
That turbo button does good work.
Yeah, it does.
So I was told yesterday that this fight can go faster if you use a fire spell.
Oh!
Then you don't have to wait for Edgar again.
You know what? That is true.
Oh, he actually even got decent ATB. The unfortunate thing about Edgar right now is he's the most useful character for damage output, and he's also the slowest character. Which means we're just going to be waiting on him a lot. So if he has good starting ATB, we're happy. That being said, he's probably not going to have a lot of good starting ATB.
So at any point if you use magic from that M-Tech fight to the end of the South Figaro Cave, you trigger about a 2.5 minute cutscene where B-Dude and Chaz are going to start dancing around and being like, oh my god, that's magic. No human has done it. We've never seen it before. In the Pixel Remaster, they end up forcing the cutscene, so you can just fire spell away.
Oh.
But you can use magic, thankfully, out of battles, and it's okay. But Edgar's auto crossbow is pretty much going to handle us for a large chunk of it. When you end up using an ability that hits all the enemies on screen, the abilities usually do 50% damage. The auto crossbow doesn't suffer from what's called split damage. So every enemy on the screen is getting the full damage output, which is why a lot of his tools seem very overpowered at the start. They either ignore enemy defense, or they'll just give you full damage instead of split.
Yeah, this game heavily favors magic, but Edgar is one of the few who uses physical damage and is actually really useful, especially early on.
So early on, we're going to be taking a decent amount of fights. It's going to be for some experience, for some money. After we kind of get ourselves a little more situated, there's going to be a lot more running away from fights. But these ones are so simple anyway, since we can kill everything in one attack for the most part. On Mount Colts, there's going to be a couple of packs that are worth a lot of experience. And it will take 2 attack. Ooh, that wall was looking pretty interesting.
I know, right? You know what? I see chat talking about Bum Rush, and I was like, that sounds like a really good idea right now. Sabin is definitely the easiest character to get overpowered. Bum Rush has spell power greater than the tier 3 elemental spells, and it ignores magic defense. So getting Bum Rush just creates such a large power spike, especially if you end up throwing like double earrings on him. But really, any character with the correct Esper level ups will be extremely overpowered for very little work.
So Dine actually hit a whole bunch of no encounter tiles just on that little walk. Like we were saying, where the bright green and the dark green hit. I think we hit like 6 or 7 in there.
Yeah, it's quite a bit on that walk.
So in case you ever are trying to walk around and grind something for a while, and it feels like you're just not getting encounters, you might just be hitting a whole bunch of no encounter tiles. Another famous one would be... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you can talk.
Oh, I was
You
gonna
know
say,
way more
another
about
famous
this game
one
than I
is
do.
between Jador and Zozo. That's one spot where people like to try and learn magic, and you'll realize you're not getting a lot of encounters. And I guess a little bit on the Thamasa Island. So we're gonna get pretty picky and choosy on what we want to fight right now. Especially right now, we're not able to even one-shot a lot of stuff. But I think we're gonna be getting something here pretty soon that's gonna help us out with that. Ooh, I guess another thing to mention also is characters all have different run speed buildups. So I think it's kind of rule of thumb is the younger a character is, the faster they are. Is that a good way to?
Yeah, it's a really good way to like put it in a generalization.
The only thing where I'm like not sure on that is like, does Realm actually run away pretty quick?
Realm's a 4. So she's tied with like Edgar, Sabin,
Okay.
Terracelis.
Okay.
And then technically Mog and Umaro are the youngest, quote unquote, but we don't talk about them. So these are one of the big pack fights where we get a ton of experience. We want Locke to run away from one of these packs just to siphon a little extra experience to Edgar and Terra to get their level ups. Wow, he actually did on that one.
I found if the Tusker attacks before the fire, Locke has a much better chance to run away. Where if he attacks in between, or if he attacks before the fire, you have to kind of do some weight tricking shenanigans. Everyone's just leaving you in the dust, dude.
Yeah. See, usually whenever I go through here, usually Edgar having the most HP is always the one that never gets hit. And I'm like, come on, hit the guy with the HP. I don't want to heal.
The game knows how to mess you up the most. Vine is also going to use these fights to do some inventory management in order to be able to do the next drops and the next menus just a little bit smoother. And because we're just waiting for animations anyway, it's completely free to do so.
Inventory management's not one of those things you have to like hyper focus on, but it's very nice to manipulate the inventory to have relics and equipment in certain spots, because it also bleeds into just making the relic menus a lot more consistent. There are some relics that will like override just the general inventory list. Genji Glove, White Cape are a couple of them. But if you end up doing the inventory management enough, you'll be able to like spot where everything is supposed to be quite easily.
And if you are going to pick up the run, I would suggest trying to learn inventory management earlier on than later. Because otherwise you're fighting a whole lot of old muscle memory to try and learn new muscle memory. And then the time save you're supposed to get from item management, you're losing because you're trying to fight everything that you just learned.
So we're queuing up attacks with Chaz and QFG. Edgar can damage roll against these Trilliums. But also, if you win a battle with no menu open, you save 12 frames, which is about a fifth of a second, which doesn't sound a lot on its own, but when you have 30 or 40 battles, it is a couple of free seconds just sitting on the table. So this next encounter, everyone should get their level ups.
Well, not everyone. We already got a couple.
True, fair enough. So getting Edgar to 10, Locke to 9, and then Terra to 8 will make sure that Sabin joins at level 11. And this is going to be a big part where we just stop caring about experience for a little bit longer. This tends to be just the gravy spot with a nice mix of speed and damage.
This fight is pretty simple. You got to kill the Ipoos in the front. Edgar not getting the split damage on his auto crossbow. Obviously, we want to prioritize him over that, and then from that point on, we mostly just hold A. Auto crossbowing, attacking with Locke, and throwing some fire spells. So we need to make sure we have at least 12 MP coming into this fight.
Getting that auto crossbow lock before Gale Cut's super nice.
Yeah.
No Doomfist skip though.
You called me a king, so I'm trying to give you some good ATBs.
Noise Blaster doesn't deal damage. We're very much hoping to kill the enemy before they kill us. Is pretty much the fight strat for a lot of these battles. And Edgar's auto crossbow will deal infinitely more damage than the Ipoos will to themselves. I got Doomfist skip. I'm actually quite surprised.
I didn't actually see what the starting ATB was there,
Well,
but...
I didn't... There was no ATB waiting after Gale Cut.
Oh. Just got lucky.
Yep.
Now we have like 3/4 of the main people we're gonna see in the game, at least for this run. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. It's casually the Figaro brothers they're both just extremely unbalanced characters.
Especially, yeah, early game they just have, with magic being as busted it is, and Edgar getting tools that either do magical damage or just ignore physical damage. It's hard to compete with those while not really putting any effort into them.
Pharaoh, do you want to explain how blitzes work with the inputs? Okay, Pharaoh's muted. So so the game actually lies to you with the blitz inputs. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. So the game doesn't understand directional inputs. So for Aura Bolt, even though it's supposed to be like down, down, left, and left, if you do down, down, left, or down, left, left, you'll get it 100% of the time. So for Fire Dance, for example, if you do right, right, down, left, left, it'll make it a lot easier. So just replace every directional input with a cardinal. And like Aura Bolt, Fire Dance, and even Bum Rush will become much easier. Same thing with like Air Blade. Your blitzes become much more consistent because of it.
Now there is one little glitch in the game where if you try to put the cursor from, we'll say, fight or magic or whatever onto blitz and you hit the A button too quick, it doesn't actually read your inputs even though you can still put them in. And then after you put them in, it could be completely perfect, but because it's not reading them, it'll say failed input. So you have to give the game that just a few frames, but when you're trying to go fast and you want to go as fast as possible, sometimes you forget that, and then a really important blitz that you need to get in there doesn't happen, and then you get really confused. So right now we're just running through the returners hideout section here. Need to talk to the brothers, need to talk to Locke. I believe we are going to be ransacking the backside today just for some extra money.
Yeah, for marathon safety.
Yeah.
So
Turbo, baby.
Yep. So in a serious PB attempt, you wouldn't loot this Northern Returners. I guess if you're trying to go for an optimized time, I guess would be a better way to put it. This is about a 45-second time loss, but it does give you a lot of extra safeties and a lot of extra guaranteed money. The True Knight makes one fight safer. The White Cape sells for 2,500 GP.
Antidote? Okay.
Did I grab what?
I was going to say, do you want the antidote?
No. I don't
Oh,
care about
alright.
the antidote. I thought I grabbed it instead of the tincture in the pot. I was going to be like, what?
I just figured we're going to be in a spot there where you're going to get poisoned. Maybe you'd want something that heals the poison.
No, we're just not going to get poisoned. I have faith.
Easy.
Marathon safety, except
Yep.
that one spot where we want to be a little bit
Except
safe.
that one item that completely destroys my inventory management. We're just going to be fine without it. We got potions.
It'll be okay.
Poison in this game, just like walking around with it, hurts really bad. It's weird because in like Final Fantasy V and Final Fantasy IV, it doesn't seem like it is that terrible, but then here it's, I don't remember what the calculation is, but you will lose so much of your HP in like 10 steps. Which is why we always have to instantly heal it when we're walking through Mount Colts if we get to Bane touched.
So we
So
say
we're going to be doing a save reset here right away. This is going to...
spooky.
Mm.
The save reset is spooky?
Yes.
Okay. This is just to change the seed that we're on, which changes the step route that we have, and this is put in. So if you fell behind on step route or you completely messed it up or something, this save reset would actually put you back onto step route. Just like earlier on, it also means we know what our NPC value is, so we can use the guard that's just walking around right before you go into the river. We can use him to know exactly what our NPC value is and make it so we only get two encounters on this river. Instead of
Otherwise, you'd have a number between 2 and 9, and obviously you don't want 9 encounters. Sounds way too much problem.
Yeah, there's especially with the added bonus of if Bannon dies, you game over. Which is for marathon safety, we just put him in the back row. Because things like this stuff happen.
Bannon, please!
He's got the swag glasses, so everything's okay.
Yeah.
I think he has a magnet on him for any section he's in.
I know, right?
25% chance to hit him, he gets hit probably 80% of the time.
Like I said before, the game knows.
The other issue with Bannon, if Bannon dies, you get a game over. Remember when we were talking about how the younger a character is, the faster they run away typically? Bannon is really, really old. And that means he runs away very, very slowly. Which is really, really bad when he's very weak. And he's our lose condition.
It's also very nice that Bannon starts at like average party level -5. So when you don't have a lot,
Cool.
when you don't have a lot of levels to start with, him starting even weaker is also kind of a very sketchy situation.
Do you find doing the marathon safety strats kind of messes you with your
100%.
where your grip memory is?
100%. Like, you're like, the cursor should be on relic, and you're like, oh, look, it's on save.
Yeah. Then you're already like working on the next bits of the menu, and you're like, oh no, it's not where I want to be.
It's more because, like, after you've run it a lot, like, every menu you play through in your head. And when it's that one little interruption, it just kind of throws off your whole thought process.
So Ultros here is actually a scripted fight because he starts off with 0 ATB and everyone fills up with full ATB. We can make it so, other than the opening attack, the only other attack he's going to do is a counter attack. You remember when we did that counter cancel on Welk way at the beginning of the game? Same idea here. He's got full ATB right now where he would normally do Tentacle. We hit him with Fire, so he's going to do Ink. He's going to be stuck doing absolutely nothing for a little while. And then he's just going to have his ATB reset. And by the time he gets to do something else, he's going to be dead.
Ultros
We
is a
don't
real
bother doing a
pal.
second.
Every time you encounter him, it's always a preempt.
He's a very good friend. See? That's what he said. So friends. We're gonna see him 2 more times during this run.
Yeah.
Always a fun time. Yeah, and here Sabin just decides to jump into the river to chase after Ultros for whatever reason. So, bye Sabin.
There's a few, just in like all the categories and stuff, but there's a few fights where they are scripted and it's really nice and it makes the fights look really easy. But if you fall off that script whatsoever, that fight turns around so quick, where Ultros all of a sudden goes from, oh, this guy is really easy and free, to, oh, this is really bad and I think I'm going back to Narsh.
The worst is his turn 3 full tentacle party attack. Because if Manon's not at full hit points, there's a very good chance you're not making it out of it.
So our party gets split into 3. We split up from Locke in the Returners hideout, and now Sabin separates from Terra. So now we have 3 different scenarios. We're gonna do the Sabin scenario first, for a couple of different reasons.
So we did a small little walk down there, just one extra no encounter tile so that we get this encounter here in the one spot that isn't a forest, because we get a single beaker, whereas if we were behind or ahead by 1, we get 2 beakers and a stray cat, I believe.
2 stray cats and a beaker.
Wow, I always get it mixed up. See, I always think 2 stray cats and a beaker, and I'm like, no, I think that's wrong. We'll flip it. And then I need to just stop changing it. Anyways, 3 enemies is a lot harder to run away from than 1. And we don't want to have that because, A, that encounter is tough to run from just there. But it also changes what we end up getting on the Veld, which means we have to run away from it twice.
If you're gonna try to keep Step Route from any place, the Returner's hideout to getting Gao is by far the best stretch to get it. Being able to manipulate the Veld encounters is very nice, because there are some encounters where Gao is flagged just not to show. And the Double Soldier, Double Templar is a very common spawn point on the Veld, which is just a very difficult encounter to get through.
These guys look like they have a really well thought out plan.
I like how they're running against the wall. I trust that guy on the left.
Yes. The best way to storm a castle is to ram your head into the wall. Works every time. This is our introduction to our next character, Cyan, who is the coolest samurai.
And he's useful in this run.
Yes.
Yes, most other runs we just tend to ignore him. This run, he's got a very buggy ability that we like to abuse.
That one buggy ability in
Yeah.
FF6.
One of many.
So we put the battle speed to 1, not because it makes the sword tech charge faster. Sadly, there's nothing you can do to make the sword tech charge faster. It makes the leader attack quicker, and the leader will die to a single retort. Retort is a magic-based ability that destroys a lot of how the game operates.
We got the black belt, so we got the good drop. If we wouldn't get the good drop, it would be a Phoenix Down, which helps with a lot less, and that's why the white cape is useful. Because it would patch up that lost money.
A lot of it in the speedrun, the rare items, the 1 in 8s, are infinitely worse than the common, because Black Belt sells for 2,500, as Pharaoh was saying. Phoenix Down sells for 250. In other bosses, sometimes you can get a Rune Edge, which sells for 3,500, or the Drainer, which sells for 1. Thankfully, in none of the speedruns, the money routes that tight, where you need to start resetting over steals, but any extra money you can get for free is always nice.
I like how there's that one section there where you don't actually... It's one of the few spots where someone talks and you don't actually have a name on it. So you're not really sure if Shadow's saying that he wants to be friends with Leo or Sabin wants to be friends with Leo. Now, we're okay to still stay on battle speed 1 here while we do the 2 little Kefka fights, because right now he's considered a party member, which means his ATB doesn't fill up any faster than ours does. And hopefully he doesn't get any attacks off, because it's really not fun to take a lot of damage before you get into any of the guard fights here. And Kefka hits for pretty decent.
Yeah, he hits for about 40 or 50. He's definitely not a weakling. General rule of thumb with Kefka is if he's tiny, he's a party member. If he's large, he's an enemy. There are, of course, exceptions to the rule, but that's pretty much the main one.
Getting excited there for a second. I'm gonna play some active.
So BS1A active with the black belt strats and just pray.
We strip Shadow naked so we can give Sabin his gear, which is much better, and also we're gonna use Sabin way more than we're gonna use Shadow in this run.
Yeah, that +2 to speed. Speed is, much like any RPG, is very much king of the stats. We're using Pummel over Aurabolt. Even though Pummel will deal less damage, it's still a guaranteed one-hit kill, and it's just got a faster animation.
The one downside to Sabin, at least for sections like this, is even though blitzes are really good, you can't target them. And when Shadow can kill the guards in the front just with a regular attack, but he can't kill the guards in the back, you're hoping that Sabin just attacks the guy that we want him to. Which, he seems to go for that 1 in 3 chance way more than he goes for the 2 in 3 chance of hitting what we want him to hit.
And that's where that safety air lancet comes into play. Because if Sabin did decide to pummel the front soldier, Shadow could throw the air lancet to kill the back soldier. And in a PB attempt, or in a serious attempt, you would just have Sabin pummel twice, because Shadow can't really do much to the back soldiers. You're also just hoping for the intercept counters at that point.
Puppy.
sort of immune system Cyan has here, but him and that one other guard seem to be doing all right while everyone else is face down.
That's what they get for working during tea time.
They're just sleeping. They'll be fine. If you haven't played 6 yet, Kefka just poisoned the river near Doma, so yeah, nobody's fine. They're all dead.
Swipe.
Except for Cyan and that one guard who apparently don't need to drink water.
They refuse tea time.
They refuse the tea time.
He's actually just that one guy from the Princess Bride. He's doing that little game with the poisoned water. Then they both find out that they're actually both poisoned water, but the one guy has just trained himself for so long to drink poisoned water that it wasn't actually going to affect him.
That's really big brain.
So for the next 3 fights, we're not going to be able to control Cyan, which is awesome, because if he wants to use Dispatch, we're just going to lose about, what is it, about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds every attempt?
Yeah.
Because he can't kill him with just a regular attack. Oh.
Oh.
Aww.
He also, only in this state, he basically has like a black belt equipped on him, sort of, in the sense that he can counterattack. So on that first fight where there's 4 of them, you kind of just hope Cyan gets attacked and then he counterattacks back, and then you don't have to wait on anyone else's turn. So whenever you see him get attacked, you just like get a little excited.
Funny enough, in this fight, Cyan can also get counter-cancelled. So
Yes.
sometimes in the fight, if Cyan's at full ATB and he initiates a counterattack, his ATB bar will stay full and he won't do any actions. It's a really good visual representation of what ATB counter-canceling does. Because he kind of just sits there for 10-15 seconds and doesn't do anything. I don't know if this will kill.
I was gonna say, is this a planned thing or is this a we'll see?
This is just a we'll see. He had 2 physical attacks.
It
He
worked.
had to be close.
It worked. It's fine.
Sure, I lost on a little bit of GP, but we're rolling
GP
in the
we
moment.
didn't even need.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have both the black belt and the white cape. We're fine.
Yeah, so kind of like, well, one of the gripes that I always have with some characters in this game is I always like to be able to control what everyone always does, so that I can just have control throughout the entire thing. But so characters like Gao, Umaro, or in this sense, Cyan or Sabin trying to do stuff that I can't make them target, they always just seem to do that one thing I don't want them to do, and that's what happened on that last fight where we just wanted Cyan to hit one of the guards in the front, and he decided that he didn't want to. That's supposed to be Sabin's guy to attack. For now we have Magic Tech.
Yeah, this is the last time we get Magic Tech. But they're still very strong.
Totally forgot what I wanted to move around there.
Weren't you telling me the other day that there's a glitch where if you change your party leader enough, graphically you get to keep Magitech?
Only in the... You can do it during the Cyan Dream sequence. Because it only... The Cyan Dream sequence never expected you to change party members. So you can end up giving Magitech status to everyone in the party, and then it only gets removed from the party leader, but the other 2 still have the status effect. And then by making parties and just transferring new party leaders, you end up infecting everyone else with the Magitech status.
I like that it's literally a status.
You don't end up getting, like, the M-Tech ability through it, but it is kind of fun to watch everyone, like, especially during the Kefka's Tower cutscene, everyone's just sitting in Magitech.
That'd be crazy if we saw that later in the run.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the 7 scenario is kind of the one that speedrunners dislike the most, because we don't have a reliable way to run away yet, because we get it at the end of this scenario. And it's also the scenario where there's a lot of stuff that's just really hard to run away from, so it ends up being very volatile.
Yeah, this usually is a split where you lose minutes very, very easily. There's so many encounters here. So many things that can go wrong. Also, all of these are very spooky encounters.
Yes, the ghosts can cast stop on you, which means you're either waiting for that character to die or you're just watching your timer go red as you're like, well, this is a fun encounter.
And that stop ability gets really scary if you get a pincer, because then you kind of decide on, do I try and kill the one side and run away and hope that I just don't get hit by the stop, or do I just decide to just lose that time and just kill everyone and not get stopped?
Yeah, we do Sabin scenario first, Alter Maven, because Nikia sells smoke bombs. So we don't have to wait till Narsh.
And the smoke bombs will be useful on the next scenarios. So.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of the run afterwards a bit more consistent. You checked it already.
I know. I just want to check it again. I'm just showing text boxes.
I like those.
The ghosts here are random, so we just kind of pray that they don't get in our way. And we don't lose step count on the way either.
Thankfully, in this place, we burn 6 steps. So, this forces a 3 still going encounter, where if we were to get the encounter outside, we would get 4 Whisperers. 4 Whisperers are really hard to run away from. They also like using an ability called Demi, which just has a very long animation. And it also ends up placing itself in the Velt encounters as well. Ooh, baby.
Could have been worse.
Yep.
Luckily, there's only... You know what? I'm actually not gonna say anything.
Nope. Just let's wait.
I'm not saying nothing.
Let's wait for the train
No,
to be
don't
done.
jinx it.
I remember what happened with the relay race. It's not like I'm not doing it.
Does a level boost for new characters matter any? Not really. Cyan being at level 11 because getting Edgar to level 11 is nice. Shadow and Gao we don't care about. Setzer we don't care about because Setzer just innately has a one-shot ability that destroys the world.
We just need Setzer to survive long
Yeah.
enough to be able to cast that ability.
So getting the Edgar as the extra level is very nice. It makes the Ultros fight and Kefka at Narsh a lot more consistent. You end up getting an extra 40 or 50 damage a turn, which doesn't sound like a lot, but 150 damage, especially in the Kefka at Narsh fight, is very, very huge.
It even carries over to the opera.
Yeah.
Your ability to kill the rats gets slightly more consistent. Okay, from this point on, we can no longer get pincered on the train. I didn't want to say that.
That's super nice.
I didn't want to say that until after that
Nope.
encounter. Everything else is going to be one enemy, and you can't get surrounded by one enemy because that just doesn't make sense. Grab one of our set of earrings here because it's just oh so good.
More magic on a game that really favors magic damage? Yes, sir.
This is where we're talking about step route, for especially here, can get really, really tight and scary because you have one step that you can burn, not 2, 1, and there's a couple of spots where you'll have, like, steps here don't matter, because they don't actually generate any threat. In front of the switch earlier, there is no threat generation, but if you get 2 steps behind, we get an encounter right before we get to the Velt, which changes our Velt entirely, and then we get very sad. So we try not to lose anything, and it can get a little nerve-wracking around a lot of the ladders and stuff.
So the earrings don't boost your magic stat, they boost your magic damage, which are 2 very different things. If it boosted your magic stat, then it would be a lot more than a 25% damage increase. Especially since you can pair earrings together for a 50% damage increase.
You know, everyone talks about suplexing the train, and yet I feel like the next one you're going to do is so much cooler.
Yep.
But no one ever wants to talk about that.
Nope. I wish my earrings increased my magic damage. You'd be too strong, Kios. You'd be unstoppable.
Damn, I have earrings right now, and they don't boost my magic damage either.
Need more zone seek.
True. Where can I find it? At the auction house, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna try and go there tomorrow, see if I can find this Asper.
Remember, if you need help finding that Esper, there is a video on YouTube I hear that will help you with that.
Awesome.
Suplex
Where-
only run would die at Cranes, if not sooner.
You could bring Cyan. Retort glitch it.
Retort glitch on the Crane seems super sketchy, because that 60-second magnitude 8 counter.
He said the thing.
Cranes are
Roll
just
credits.
scary no matter what, though.
Yeah.
Even on this run, they are scary. And they just get one shot on this run. The mod where Sabin suplexes the Opera House? Like the Opera House itself?
We suplexed a house into Zen. Does that count?
Yeah. I'd say that counts. The
So
most
right now we
important
have-
suplex in the game. True.
Right now we have a little bit of dead time while we're even inside a menu. So Dine's taking this time to get a little bit of item management done instead of just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Sorry, a lot of time.
Yes.
Oh, I still got her done.
Yeah,
I actually don't even know how long that fade out takes.
20 seconds.
Oh, that's way more than I thought. So we did a save there instead of earlier on. If you open up your menu before you do that little walk, the game actually updates the threat generation per step to the correct value, and then we'll also get crass hoppers before we reach this area, and our step route will be a little bit skewed as well.
Yes, for the love of God, never open your menu, especially when you're on the south side of the mountain, because each step equals to 3 steps of threat. So it's a good way to kind of just tank your step route for... It seems like a silly reason, but until you know about it, you know to be aware for it.
Everyone does it once.
Yep.
Wait, you're... That's...
Oh, that was a
You're the
misclick.
Cyan.
Alright. You know what? We're okay. Don't worry, this is completely fine. Okay, we got this. Alright, we safety saved.
no.
Don't worry. Thank God I grabbed that.
Okay.
Thank God I grabbed that extra Phoenix down.
There you go.
Yeah. You can do it.
Okay.
Now attack the Piranha.
Okay, come on, Toriak. I believe in you.
Oh, I thought you were going to use maybe 1 or something.
I spaced out and I didn't push the button fast enough.
Oh no.
Oh, well,
Good.
that
Well,
worked.
everything worked out in the end.
Wow.
You are so lucky, Dine. Damn.
Man, who knew? Just backup strats.
Mm-hmm. Backup strats inside backup strats.
So we just witnessed the retort glitch, where after you kill Cyan and bring him back to life and make him use retort, any action that basically any action that interacts with the AI script whatsoever will actually trigger it. So we did a suplex, the suplex missed, and then we just went. It triggered the retort right there, and it has some really fun little things to it where the AI script just doesn't actually activate. So when the boss died, the game didn't really know what to do with us anymore. It said, just get out of the fight, continue on with the game. I don't know what's happening. You don't know what's happening. Just leave. And that's why we didn't have to see Rizopez. We got to skip any of like the slow boss vanishing animation. And it saves a good amount of time over waiting for Rizopez, even though the setup for it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, the boss death animation is about 12 seconds. So it's a pretty decent time save just on that. We miss out on a remedy. Oh no. Oh man, another pincer.
Oh.
I am
Same
so
one from before too?
so unlucky.
So unlucky.
For anyone that doesn't know, this is just a forced pincer attack. This is the same encounter as the second one in the game with Question Mark Girl, Vixen Wedge. So it will always be a pincer no matter what, which it sucks kind of taking it, but with the grand scheme of the step route, the perks still greatly outweigh the small cons like that.
But this is a very easy encounter to get rid of too. Yeah, so in the shop we sell almost everything we have, and we're gonna buy something very important to be able to recruit our next character, which is required for us to be able to continue saving scenario.
Correct.
Gal will not show up on back attacks, pincers, or if you have a character that's dead.
Or side attacks.
Or side attacks, right.
Basically anything outside of a normal encounter. Hey!
Buddy, show us up here!
Boompack's doing good work.
That's better than the 6 you got a couple days ago.
Yeah. My last marathon practice run, it was 6 try Gao, which it's always fun to lose 3 minutes on Velt because of that.
Thanks, game.
So we get to keep step route, which is nice.
So...
Habibs!
Beebs, Gao is a cutie, and this theme hits so hard. I love the Velt theme.
The Velt theme, Realms theme, and Mage Attack to me are like the 3 that feel out of place, but also just feel very homely.
Yeah, Realms is also pretty good.
On step route, we have 2 encounters to find Gao. Gao will show up on a 5/8 chance, and if we get him on the 3rd try, our encounter string is screwed up, but we can get back onto step route. Anything after that, you're just there for a good time.
Which, dropping step route isn't the worst thing. If you're off a couple of steps, you'll still get roughly the same encounters, just a couple of steps before you're supposed to. There are also encounters called step-based encounters, where they don't reset your threat, but it's just your threat and the amount of steps between the last encounter you've gotten hit a magical value in the game's internal lookup table. So by getting like a 4th, 5th, or 6th try Gal, you can still finish the run very easily in any of the 3 like main categories: sketch, no sketch, or glitchless. You're just gonna get counters a little earlier, and you might get 1 or 2 extra along the line, but especially if you're starting off, like finishing runs is vastly more important than anything else, because it sucks getting to the end of the game and then just dropping it because you messed up a warp or a fight.
It's just a suggestion anyways.
Oh yeah.
Little green imp is just explaining to us how rages work, but we're not gonna use Gao for rages at all, so...
This would be the other encounter. So if we got the Grasshoppers before, and this is why we're so worried about it, instead of having a single ghost and a single bomb to try and find Gao, you'd be fighting 3 Grasshoppers and then 3 ghosts, which the Grasshoppers alone are really annoying because they will possibly berserk one or both of your characters, which if that happens, you can't throw a dried meat. And 3 ghosts is just so much longer to kill. And just the fact that they can throw a whole bunch of fires and you hope that nobody dies.
It's a very fun fight. It's very fun trying to find Gao in general.
So thankfully, the only real scary encounter is the first encounter on the Serpent's Trench. As B-Dude was mentioning before, what encounter packs we get is determined by the NPC value. So if you wanted to get super manipulatable, you could watch the NPCs before you left Mobliz. But realistically, it's probably going to lose you more time than it saves.
The only reason the first one is scary is because we'll either get 3 Actineons or whatever they're called, or you get a single Anguiform. The single Anguiform can cast Aqua Rake on your party, and it really, really hurts. And it's the only spot where we'll get a single Anguiform. If there's 2 of them, like we can get at the very end, they don't do it. They just kind of sit there and will punch you a little bit. There's a couple of enemies actually that get a lot scarier when they're by themselves, which I always think is funny.
Alright, well, not the worst in the world. Getting a back attack on something like this isn't horrible, because since there's 3 enemies on the screen, it does take a little bit of time to build up a run.
Yeah, you probably ran away just as fast as a normal battle.
Yeah. You might lose like a second or 2, but at that point you're just really cutting hairs.
These are always guaranteed 3 fights. Then we're just gonna run away from all of them as fast as we can.
Another downside of having the Anguiforms in fight is they have the hard to run flag. So even though there's 3 enemies on screen, the game counts it as there's 5 enemies. Which is why any encounter with them, it feels like it does take longer to run away. The run difficulty, at this point in the game, it's still pretty much it adds 2 per enemy. Later on in the game, it will add, the numbers will go up. But 2 is the nice general rule of thumb for pretty much this whole run.
Realistically, if you come into here with a dead Cyan, that's almost more ideal. Your back attack chances go down, your pincer chances will go up a little bit, but your regular battle chances will go up a bit, and he's the slowest to run away. But he is getting hit by pretty... Oh, there you go. But he's in the back row.
A lot of runners did yell at Cyan to run at this point.
Pretty much.
Just like, please move!
So before we hop onto this boat, we have a little bit of shopping to do. Luckily, we sold all that stuff in Moblez earlier, so we can afford it all pretty handily.
So we're gonna get the smoke bombs that we talk about, and we're gonna get 2 seemingly random items. We're gonna get 2 echo screens and 2 tinctures, I think?
Green cherries.
Green cherries, okay. I know both of them are important, and these items are gonna be real important later on to set up two other well-known glitches for breaking fights and then the game itself.
Dine runs what's called the short menu. It's not essentially faster than the normal menu, but it just makes it so that it's a runner preference thing, so that he knows if he wants to go to the specials, he holds left, and then magic's on the right.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I have no idea. I stay normal, and that's the way it's gonna be.
If either menus don't matter, the short menu could save frames or inputs over the course of the run, but like Vidu said, it's all just runner preference. I couldn't remember where everyone's input was, and having everyone to throw a smoke bomb just be a down input consistently, to me, was just a lot better for mental gymnastics.
So we don't have to actually do the steal right now, but we kind of just remembered about this little thing not that long ago.
Like 2 days ago.
We're just gonna run around with the merchant lock, and away out of Figaro we go. South Figaro.
Yeah, and this means we don't actually save Celis. And because we don't save her, we also don't name her. Therefore, from this point forward, she will be known as the Mughal Kutan.
He remembered to put it into position 2.
Yep. Got me all worried since I skipped that antidote.
I was thinking more with the bear gouging.
We don't talk about that.
And yeah, we have only luck, but because we bought the smoke bombs with Sabin, we can just run away from every single encounter very, very easily.
And this is the good old pincer, why moving lock to slot 2 is a good safety measure. The gold bears can use an attack called Gouge, and if you're in the first slot, it'll be on the backside, which you take 50% more damage.
And 0% chance to block.
Yes.
Fun.
So, Figaro Cave is one of a few dungeons in the game where the items will upgrade the more times you go through them in the story. So that chest in the top left is first a tincture, but since this is the second time we've gone through it, it's upgraded to the Thunder Rod. Which rods are seemingly pretty broken in this game.
We don't have Celis, but we also don't need her to be able to deal with this boss because we have the Thunder Rod.
So we're watching the screen shakes right now, since the NPC value is actually cycling through right now. And closing it at a specific point will actually help us manipulate the Elite River with the terrace scenario, so we only get 1 encounter instead of 3, which is why we do the lock scenario before Terra.
Yeah, older routes used to do Terra scenario before locks. In a run like Glitchless or No Sketch, doing lock scenario before Terra allows you to manipulate the river, as B-Dude was saying, but it also allows you to skip an extra encounter in Terra scenario. Now, because we skipped all of the South Figaro basement with getting Celis and everything like that, this is kind of where Glitchless and No Sketch diverge from Sketch for the step route. It's still the same walking pass. It's just at this point we're going to be getting different encounters and encounters in different places. Because with skipping the guards, we've skipped 6 or 7 encounters.
People are asking, why are the rods so broken?
Are busted because when you break them, it casts a tier 2 spell that ignores magic defense, always rolls the highest damage roll, and anyone can use them. You don't need to know magic at all. You can just throw them and away you go. Block doesn't know how to cast Bolt 2 right now, but he just did 1448 damage consistently on tunnel
Just
armor.
because.
It also ignores things like Reflect, Shell, which is very handy for some enemies, especially on like Floating Continent. A lesser well-known fact, elemental shields can also be broken in battle. They have the same property as rods, except they cast the tier 3 spell.
Which is why we like all characters in Espers.
Yes. So for even though you can't buy elemental shields, where like you can buy elemental rods, there are 6 of them you can find in the game. And if you can just break them on the tiers fight and just get dummy damage for no work. Final Fantasy V, like, if you equipped a fire rod, your fire damage got 25% damage increase. They tried to balance rods from 5. I don't know if they succeeded or failed.
I just know I'm happy with them.
Yep. They make the run easy.
So in that last room that we were in, we fell into the trap. But when the stars starts circling around you, just holding the A button, as soon as the yellow one goes in front of you, you just automatically hit it. So you don't have to do any timing whatsoever.
Very important is to not have turbo on.
Or everybody laughs at you.
Yes. Holding A is very powerful in this game. Any text you have in battle, as long as it's not on the upper part of the screen, so like with the Gao cutscene, for instance, you can just put the A button under your controller and walk away, or under your keyboard. Go walk away. There's a lot of like kind of nice built-in cutscenes where you don't really have to mash if you don't have a turbo controller.
That's what the sketch run is. Bandon gets to be in the front here, and you can just watch the old man move with the sprint shoes. He's in a hurry, and he's gonna get there.
Go fast, old man.
Alright, so we finished the scenarios. Everyone's going to come back to Nourish. We're going to have a great party. Nothing wrong is going to happen.
Or this 2%.
I just
Was this
overbloated the
so
estimate
small?
because of Phantom Train.
All sunshine and rainbows.
So pretty much for the rest of the game, outside of one area, we're pretty much going to be running from everything, which is why a large chunk of our money goes into smoke bombs. None of the enemies really give a lot of experience where getting an extra level or 2 is worth it, especially for the time investment.
I can't wait to see a new character. I feel like Arvis is actually secretly broken, and that's why they didn't make him a playable character.
He
This
is
stands for
Nourish's
all
last
people
line of
equal.
defense.
Yeah.
So, as the commentators were mentioning, since we completely skipped over Celis, Kutan ends up going in her place. We do lose out on Runic and Magic, sorry. But the little bits of damage we miss, the time save for skipping that whole segment still greatly outweighs it.
this cutscene is even more magical with the Moogle and the
Yeah.
And
merchant.
merchant lock. There's,
Falcon's
on-
quite like, who are these two?
there's only 2 points in the game where the game will tell you to remove either the merchant outfit or the soldier outfit. It's before you get to Celis and after you've named Celis. So since we skipped both those events, Locke saves the merchant for the entire run. And it's got some magical side effects.
We've said, like, I've heard this a lot of times on Dine's channel. It's amazing how much how many things and how much you can do to this game and get away with it, because it will just stick together somehow.
It's held together by the strongest hopes and dreams.
Yes.
I think I've caused the game to soft lock once. Through using all the glitches, and that was just from using relics to attack. Rivers, I would do the thing, but that was something I just didn't practice at all. And I tried it once in a practice run, and I don't know the latter half of the setup. I got the first part done, and then I just completely froze.
Sounds like a fun thing for you to do, Dine. Not gonna lie. Okay, so things are not fine. Kefka is also at Narsh. He's also trying to get to the Esper. So we're gonna try and get there before he... No, we're gonna try and stop him from getting there. And how we do this is more or less the same way as the Marshall fight. We're just a bunch of guards. If you collide with them, you have to fight them, but you can also just squeeze past them to try and avoid the fights.
No, I'm not gonna do it. I was thinking about it.
I saw you like started.
No, I don't remember the setup well enough, and it's one of those neat tricks. B-Dude will explain it in just a second, where if you do it, you save 7 seconds. If you fail it, you lose like 2.5 minutes.
It requires a lot
Because
of...
that extra fight is really long.
Requires some party swapping and opening up of menus to basically have the NPC just ignore you for a second, but it also has some pretty precise movement of not just like trying to hit it as quick as possible, but there's a few spots where you have to wait just that last little bit and then go. And while you're trying to dodge, I think it's 2 of the last guards, and then also making sure you don't hit the rider right at the end. It's not something you can just ram ham and go for.
The game gets very unhappy that you tried to skip the encounters. So you get in a fight with a soldier, and then the soldier will respawn in their original position. So you end up fighting the 2 soldiers you tried to bypass, and then you fight the 3rd soldier because the first one respawned. It's a very, very damning trick. It is very, very cool to to watch when it does happen.
That was a pretty nice Kefka Narsh.
So the sketch glitch, we'll go into a lot more on how it pertains to this run. But the sketch glitch in general has over 8,000 different variations of outcomes depending on what you do in battles and what spells you learn. One of the things you can do with sketch glitch is change the property of relics and shields, tools, and things like that. So what you can do is you can make you can create Moogle charms out of thin air, and you can equip goggles as weapons. Now, in the old sketch route or sketch all characters and espers, you can use the goggles to merge the magic in the item menu, which gives you access to enemy abilities via throwing items. So the sketch glitch, there are 2 or 3 molds where very bad things can happen, but for the most part, you're just causing a large amount of memory corruption. You be the green card and just blend in? Sadly, no, poor Scythe.
And now Terra learns a new ability. Oh, look! And there she goes.
Yeah, bye, Tara.
We'll miss you.
We'll miss you.
So
You just flies away.
a lot of us are very firm believers that the run doesn't start until Kefka and Narsh. There's a lot of just very big RNG segments. Mount Colts can lose you 20 or 30 seconds. Phantom Train and Imperial Base combined can lose you 20 to 40. Serpent's Trench can lose 20. And this you're out of a pretty big cutscene block for a while, and it's just a lot of like back-to-back gameplay.
If it didn't lose so much time, I would be rocking Merchant Lock every run.
I know. Merchant Lock's like a good minute to get. It's something nice to show off in a marathon.
Did you ever find out about Soldier Lock?
Soldier Lock works good too. You gotta steal the merchant, steal the soldier, death warp off the heavy armor, and then do the warp. So it's a lot more of a
Nice portrait.
setup. Yeah,
Yeah.
Locke, he looks a little
Locke,
bit different.
It's so corrupted.
He's a little bit washed out.
Yeah. Has a bad hair. He'll be fine.
Lots of good things to pick up in this little area. You would be crazy not to pick it up.
It's probably in that warehouse we got an earring, which is amazing because now we can deal 50% more magic damage. We've probably got about 12,000 GP worth of just raw money and items.
And a Thief Knife for Locke. Which will just give him that little extra speed. It's like we were saying, speed is good.
Hey, we are speedrunning, right? Gotta go fast.
So we're just making our way to Figaro Castle here. Got a little bit of a shopping list to do. And then we're off to the new part of the continent, where there's going to be tougher enemies that we will still just run away from.
Our next fight is going to be another boss fight. Up until then, we're just gonna run away from everything.
We put
So we
Edgar in the party leader spot because this grants us a 50% discount from both shops in Figaro.
We also picked up Drill, which physical damage, but it ignores defense. So really good for a lot of bosses, since most of the bosses we're going to be fighting are just single enemies. And then Flash, which is magical damage. We're going to be getting to a lot of stuff here where magic is going to start being really good. And it attacks all, which is also very good.
It's basically the magical version of the auto crossbow.
And the animation might even be faster.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to like individually shoot every enemy with the arrows. It's just like
Yeah.
a static animation for all.
We didn't even see the coin cutscene.
Nope. We gotta rush to the... Locke's gotta ride this chocobo.
It's
Are
pretty
we-
magical.
You might be asking, why are we going north if Zozo is south? It's two reasons. One, I'm just very bad at this video game. And
You even
two,
get lost.
this house has a very nice item. it has a hero ring, which is pretty much an earring and an atlas armlet that had a baby. So it increases all damage by 25%. You can mix it with double hero ring for 25% physical, 50% magic. You can do hero ring, earring for 25 physical, 50% magic. Physical in this game is just capped at 25%, where magic does go up to 50. So by giving it to someone like Edgar, you can just increase all damage he can do. Also, hello, little spooky ghost.
Oh, this game is amazing.
So, as you can tell, the game never really planned for Merchant Lock to be on a chocobo. So the game really doesn't know how to handle it. So we
I think it's handling it quite well.
You know what? I love the view of that chocobo's neck. So this will also happen with Soldier Lock, and before you go to Narsh during the Terra scenario, if you walk far to the south, you can find a chocobo stable. And if you put Bannon on a chocobo, the game is also very, very unhappy. Bannon's glitch sprite is actually a lot cooler. If memory serves me correctly, it's just a bunch of like giant pixels on the back of a chocobo.
And we made it to Zozo, where we will definitely save.
Yes, but first...
Do some
Oh, you do that one.
and shuffling
It's...
to be able to prepare for the fight.
I only do it there just because of the safety save.
Okay, that makes sense.
In a PB attempt, I do it before Dataluma, because generally you would need to heal up, but since the menu is already open, I figured why not. It's only because of the Merchant Lock, because by the game's logic, you shouldn't be anything other than normal lock at this point in the game. So the only real scary enemies in Zozo is the solo slam dancers. If they get their action off, they do have a 100% chance to use one of the 3 tier 2 elemental spells, and if it ends up hitting the whole party, there's a good chance no one's walking away from it. Giving Locke the sneak ring is also just a very nice safety because it also gives him +5 to speed. So between the Thief Knife and the Sneak Ring, he's got +8 speed at the moment.
The hottest of takes. The chainsaw is bad.
The chainsaw has a cool animation. The 25% chance for an instant death attack ruins a lot of its viability, and it's only 12 or so attack power stronger than the drill. Where the drill is just always going to be consistent damage.
But it's a chainsaw.
I too like dying to cranes because I tried to instant kill him twice.
That's why we use the glitch that actually always works.
If you can execute it.
Yeah, if you can execute it. But we have faith in you, Dine.
I think even if the chainsaw never did an insta-death attempt, I don't think we actually save turns.
No, it's the damage increase is very minimal.
That might not be a bad idea to heal up a little.
Yeah.
So, do you guys remember what we did on Rizopaz, where we killed Cyan because we just loved him so much? Yeah, we're gonna do that again. Except for this time, there's a lot more battle scripting happening.
Hey,
So
I
there's
remember the Fire Knuckle. Are you proud?
Hey, I'm pretty proud of you.
Hey.
So, what we're really hoping for is when Locke goes for his steal, We're hoping to get a counter off of it so we can actually get numerous retorts going off.
Nice.
So instead of just getting the one, because we had 2 different script actions happen, we're going to get a couple of them, and...
We got unlucky there. The flame proc disables the retort glitch.
I was going to say, I think that actually is not good.
No, that's not ideal.
Oh no.
It's okay, we can re-enable the glitch just by using retort.
He's still in his glitch state, so we just need to set it up once again, and away we go.
Excellent. That adds 2 to the counter. And
That should be dead. And you
Yeah.
can see, once again, we don't get
There
the
it goes.
slow disintegrate. Because the game's going, I don't know what's happening, why is this working? Just leave. You're not
Chain-
welcome in this establishment anymore.
Get out of
Chainsaw
my
doesn't
sight, I didn't want to play.
Chainsaw doesn't do line AoE. It's single target as well. The chainsaw is just a little bit fancier of a drill. If it did line AoE, it'd be a little more enticing to pick up on something like 128. But with it being single target, it's just not worth it. The Fire Knuckle's in the right hand, because if the Fire Knuckle's in the left hand and the Fire proc kills Cyan, the retort glitch fails. So it always has to be in the right hand.
So now is when we get to start actually manipulating the run for the sketch glitch, since we're going to get the ability to learn magic. Which, I guess you could say is kind of the backbone for the sketch glitch. Sort of.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pieces that go into it, but it's definitely one that is one you have to keep on top of the entire time.
The sketch glitch is incredibly complex, and because it is so complex, if you mess up one tiny itsy bitsy detail, you're just gonna get a different outcome, and it's just not going to work the way you want it to work.
From this point onward, we're on a very strict magic learning diet. We have no cheat days. We can't overindulge. And this is to set up to have a specific spell, remedy, in the 28th magic slot. Now, the way the game handles you learning spells is, for example, if you have basic menu, it'll be Cure, Cure 2, and Antidote in the first row. So you can learn any spell that's in that row, but if you learn any spell outside of it, then spells start to get shuffled around somewhere else.
We still leave Kieran behind in this, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, I don't think it matters as much in... Well, no, it's probably still matters a little bit. Not picking up Kieran means that the top right slot in the Esper menu means that it's empty, which means when you're trying to make people just drop an Esper and not equip anything else, it's so much easier than having to like hit the R button and then going down to a blank spot or something. That and the fact that it's just a horse.
Kieran only gets love in
Just
no
a
sketch. So at this point of the game is also, since we have espers, is the first point where we can start getting esper bonuses on a level up. Now, if the esper says +1 to magic, every time you level up with that esper equipped, your magic will raise up by 1. For espers that say HP plus 10%, it's not your current HP, it's the HP you gain on that level up. At this low level, getting an extra 2 or 3 hit points on a level up isn't really going to make much of a difference. Your HP really doesn't start to skyrocket until mid 20s to like early 30s. Don't want to hit B too early there.
Saw a little bit of hesitation, like, don't do it.
Yeah, no.
Or else we have to do a really big walk of shame.
Yes. It's still in the estimate, I just don't want to do it. Might be actually easier to death warp and just redo Zozo.
Oh no.
So, like I was saying before, there's a lot of no encounter tiles between Zozo and Jador that we're going to try and hit, so you'll see a lot of kind of funky movement just trying to stay along the dark green and the bright green. And if you've ever tried to do level grinding here, or magic grinding, because I know I have once upon a time, it felt like it took a really long time to get encounters, and now I know why. I could have saved hours of my life just walking back and forth in not the green.
Yeah, that's a pretty big no encounter stretch right there. Ah, excuse me.
I love that
He
NPC.
was being rude.
So talking to the impresario from the top and then the letter from the bottom is just little frame saving techniques, because you don't get sprint shoe speed when the game automatically moves you. So just by putting us where we're supposed to be, you just end up saving little bits of time here and there. This run has a lot of like little frame saving techniques where a lot of them you don't know about until someone points them out to you.
Hey kid, want to save some frames?
Yeah, the good old ECLCC just being like, you know, you could save 6 frames here.
Wait, I'm Setzer?
Yep.
Okay, sure.
Your grasp
I
of the
love
English
I like
alphabet.
Setzer. Setzer's cool. I was actually thinking you were gonna name me the realm, but
I was
Setzer's
thinking
fine.
about that too, but then I kind of froze on what to name Setzer, and I was like, alright, I guess you're going here. I haven't really planned this out very well.
Who can you name? Realm and Strago.
We know what we're gonna name Realm, I think.
Yes. Realm's
Yes.
got a very special name.
Okay.
Strago will think about. So we're gonna be doing another save reset here. So I don't think we actually lost any steps along the way there, but we're still back onto the next bit of our step route. We need to take 4 rats.
4 rats is kind of ideal. 'Cause they're a little bit faster than taking an encounter in MTech.
Because you're not guaranteed the pipsqueaks.
Yeah.
I think it's
And I
really
believe this-
funny.
That save
no.
reset means you get 4 3-packs.
Yep. Because if we didn't, we'd end up, our first encounter would be a 5-pack.
I think it's so funny that the impresario just says, "Oh yeah, you look just like Maria." So Maria looks like a Moogle.
It's what Malulu does as a night job.
That's where she went.
Could even be Mog.
So this will be the last time we see the glorious Kutan sprite. So everyone, people buy Kutan. We'll still keep the Kutan name. The opera is a very, very special place where it really wants to have Celis in the opera dress. So, from this point on and after the opera, we will have the Celis sprite on our Moogle, but it won't be the actual Celis character data. If you end up doing the opera, there are some ways to glitch yourself to have Terra doing the opera, but it ends up soft locking because Celis spawns on the upper staircase, so you can never go and dance with Draco.
That's what happens when you try to break up a love that's meant to be.
I know, right? The love is too strong.
Yeah. I'm just gonna chill here a bit and watch the opera.
That conductor, though, is just going full force.
Mm-hmm.
Ought to be hot just sitting in all that gear.
I know, right? This is one of the things, like, after you've watched it 1,000, 2,000 times, you're like, I really wish there was a way to skip this. Although it is, like, especially for a run like Glitchless, this is a very nice bathroom break, because the opera is just fully autonomous.
I like to think that the band is watching the conductor. The conductor has no idea what's going on. There's like, just play the song, guys. Just let them just believe.
You not have audio B, dude?
I haven't the whole time. I'm just chilling, bro.
Huh.
Okay, I know what it sounds like.
What about now?
I have everything muted.
Oh, fine then.
I can't compete with the Charlie Brown singing. I note, if you haven't even listened to the Distant Worlds version, you should. It's magical.
Or the Pixel Remaster Italian version.
The way it was meant to be.
Yes.
So, we're not singing?
No.
Aw, okay. If you want to hear them sing, follow them. They're both great.
Yes, I check out the Italian opera and the Japanese opera. Are by far my two favorite personally for Pixel Remaster. So the nice thing about this section is you don't need to push A. As long as you have the right option highlighted, the game will auto-select it for you after the timer runs out. You know what? Say what you want for a Magitech Knight General Moogle, she does still sing pretty good. You can in the options for Pixel Remaster. Involves like a save and a reset to go back to the main menu, but it's definitely worth a couple of minutes in my opinion.
you've listened to this enough, you can hear it perfectly without hearing it at all.
Yep.
You know, there's that meme where it's like, you can't hear a picture, you can't hear a GIF. I can hear all of this perfectly.
You spend enough time with the game and it just comes ingrained in you.
Yeah. I have this with my speed games.
Meh.
Thinking
it.
I was looking at it like, people, why is there talking during commentary? Like, why is there not singing during this? The duality of men.
Because we're all responsible adults and didn't plan ahead of time.
I like the part where you said we're responsible.
Sumakuchi sang it for one of the GDQs. I don't remember which year specifically.
Are you planning on doing googlies?
Oh yeah.
Ah, okay, good. Hang on.
List.
I just needed to prep.
Hey, we got the pillar girl.
What's up?
So sometimes, I don't know why this happens, but sometimes the girl on the left gets stuck on the top of the pillar. It's just kind of like a fun thing because it looks like she's sitting in a turret watching over everything.
She's a cute Oscar the Grouch.
2% sketch is beating the game as fast as possible with most of the glitches, including the sketch glitch, at your disposal.
I don't know, it would be funnier if it was sketch as fast as possible while playing FS6.
It's... if only we could get Realm faster. She's definitely the pillar of the community. Oh, Pojo's in heaven right now.
So the other day I was doing a Beyond Chaos seed, and it is actually pertinent to this. Maria threw 4 tons over the edge, and Ultras was struggling to throw a book.
Beyond Chaos is so good for stuff like that at the opera. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum.
Alright.
This is the most important thing.
Googly eyes!
I just love the shifty eyes.
And then the crowd hopping.
You don't need to do this. I didn't know about this third switch until like a week ago.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it just dropped it, and I didn't know you surfed over the crowd. I thought you
That
just
was
like
also
maybe.
ran off to the
cool.
side and called it a day. Like outside of Google AIs, it's been years before I've hit anything else. So we've been ranting and raving on how magic is so much better than physical. But yet we got Sabin physically spec'd. This is important for the Raptor Rats because we can guarantee who he's going to hit. We really want him to hit the Gold Rat. So if the Vermin or the Gold Rat is by himself and his turn comes up, he will summon 2 more Sewer Rats. The Sewer Rats have 299 hit points. There are a couple of damage rolls where Edgar will not kill, which is why we'll have Lock Attack. We took off his Thief Knife to prevent the 25% capture chance from happening. It just saves a couple of frames. Actually getting pretty good rat luck at the moment.
This is why it was kind of important to make sure we also get Edgar to level 12 for all the things before this too, but trying to hit that 299 damage at level 11 just seems to not happen very often.
And this is with the 50% magic boost too. So with this fight, we did some party placement shenanigans. Ultros, this fight is always a side attack, so we've positioned Sabin to be at Ultros' backside. Ultros will take double damage from fire. He'll also take double damage from being attacked in the back. So attacking him with the Fire Knuckle in the back with the Atlas Armlet is roughly 4 times normal damage. So by having this set up, we're going to make this version of the Ultros fight very easy. Cause this is one of the fights where Ultros starts to get very serious and the battle could get out of hand very quickly.
It's changed. Yeah, literally, lock does not look the same.
Oh yeah, this fight actually, like, you have to think about a little bit.
Yeah, you can't just yeet skeet the drill.
Oh, we got the Thief Knife drop from Dadaluma? Oh, baby.
I know, right?
It's mostly just annoying because now your Thief Knife isn't going to go usually just to replace the item that you want it to, so you always know where it is. It drops down to where it was stacked before because the Thief Knife didn't really move because you still had that other one. So you'll plunk it down and you'll be like, uh-oh. Okay, I guess I got that Thief Knife. Time to find out where it went.
Ultros at the Opera has 19 or 2200 hit points. There are 3 parts in the battle where Ultros will move locations, not just turn left and right, but like move physical locations in the battle. And then when that happens, he gets an HP refill. So even though he's got a low amount of HP, if he ends up moving around a couple of times, it can feel like he has a lot of HP because you're just continually chipping away at what you already chipped away at. After on the 4th move and beyond, the HP refill doesn't happen. Which is one of the reasons it makes this fight very, very tight. Is you really want to kill him before he moves locations. Because he's also got some pretty scary attacks. He's got Imp Song, he's got Flash Rain, Tentacle.
Kutan's name just comes across so aggressive when it's all caps.
I know, right? It's kind of like with Bannon when you see him in
Yeah.
battle. It's like he's like Zoa from Chrono Cross, just always yelling. Hi, I'm Pojo. What's your name? Kutan. Okay then.
There's no way the Empire could be evil. Look at all the good things they've given me.
They've given me this airship, money.
Blackjack table to play with no one.
Yep.
I wish they actually had a blackjack game.
The
casually streaming it for hours on end.
the any percent or the all characters in Esper sketch is an interesting run, just because you get to see a couple more glitchier versions of the sketch glitch and more of what it can do. The fights boil down to a lot of just Vanish Doom and Vanish Raiden. And the route's still in kind of a spot where I feel like it needs a little more work before a marathon run. Would be kind of neat to show off just for what else you can do with the sketch glitch. And you get to see a couple of other glitches you don't see in this run.
I mean, I guess we technically skip Inferno here too, but it's not as cool.
No.
Even played this so many times now, this part still just gives me good chills.
Yeah, you know a scene's good when, like, B-Dude and I have both been running this game for a very considerable amount of time. And there's just still a bunch of cutscenes where it's like, you still get like the little bit of chills on the hair on the back of your neck, or it still kind of feels like the excitement when you watched it the first time.
It's necessary to do it now. It's always felt like an awkward one, but there's one of those ones where you can't make it not awkward.
A lot of it is with, especially because B-Dude and I have ran different categories. This is the only category where you don't equip Celis. And it's one of those things where it really does kind of throw off the flow of the menuing.
Like, Dine's done a lot of work on, like, making the route really clean and all good and all that, and I've spent more time than I like to admit being like, how can I make this menu, like, 2 inputs faster? So I like to make things, I like to go into one and just think like, what are the buttons I need to push so that everything is always in the same spot every single time? So I'll look at a menu like that last one and just for like an hour, just be like, how can I make this just that little bit quicker, save one here, but so it still makes the next one good? It's not a great legacy, but it's all I got. So luckily in this category, we get to skip grabbing a bunch of stuff here because we don't really care about a lot of the money or anything with it. So we can just kind of just run right to the end.
And thankfully, out of the 3 main routes, this route, you just don't need a ton of money.
we need it at the start, but then because we're gonna glitch most of the fight from here on out, we don't really need good equipment to be able to deal with these enemies.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-bum.
Kefka is such an unapologetic jerk.
It's very interesting because if you look at the Japanese script, he's nothing like Ted Woolsey made him into like such a lovable character. Which, granted, like translation back in the day was very, very crude, but and I know people give Ted Woolsey a little bit of crap for it, but under the working conditions and what he had to do, I still think he did an amazing job with this game.
So Dine actually went near the top of the room there before going to save, because that little skull there is actually a no encounter tile. For reasons. Actually, is that where the crane actually grabs you?
Yeah, to pull you out of here to stop a soft lock situation.
So putting Ramu on Sabin, which is actually a new thing that Dine's just been playing around with, means that we can do the magical strat here, where you just have to cast 3 magic spells on Ifrit and then he'll teleport, instead of having to hit him with 5 physical attacks. And this is nice because it gives us 2 shots to run away a bit easier, since when he teleports, the no run flag is going to disappear. So you're dealing with less counterattacks, you get 2 shots to run away, and it's faster.
That was very
There's like-
clean.
I was kind of scared after I failed it on my last and final marathon practice.
So yeah, while Ifrit or Shiva are on the screen, you have a no run flag, so you can't run away. But while they are switching places or while they are teleporting away or whatever, that flag is momentarily lifted and you can build run even though you can't run away. But you can still build a run, and as soon as the no flag is lifted, your character just run away. Sometimes you won't be able to run away with all of them, but you also don't need to. As long as you run away with at least one of them, your other characters can just die, and you'll still get the same outcome of the fight.
I was not expecting that single gobbler there.
Just save reset shenanigans. Just walking, just saving.
Yeah.
shenanigans thing. So we're not gonna bother bringing Kutan back because honestly, she's quite useless. She can do fight and item. We don't want her to do fight, and after Locke goes for the steal, he is also kind of useless in this fight. Apparently he's useless before the steal anyways.
So, 24 is weak to sleep, and only physical attacks will break sleep. Come on, Chaz. Living up to the name. So as long as we safely pelt him with magic attacks, it's pretty much a free fight. Now, after 28 seconds of active battle, a little puppy will show up named Tapir and will lift sleep. It'll work for both party members and enemies. So it's not like you can just sleep the enemy and just GG. Oh, thank you.
Hey!
Look, there he is now. Which we don't really worry about too much in this route because he's going to be very close to death.
I was gonna say, didn't you put on a relic to help our steal chances?
Yep. The
That's crazy.
the sneak ring doubles the steal chance, and we still have to fight with Locke over it.
Thanks, Locke. 'Cause, 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 'c
So now we get the classic, almost Disney-like misinterpretation between lovers thing that always seems to happen. And it just will not cause any issues later on down the road. Actually, it kind of doesn't, because we kind of skip over part of it.
Yeah, we skip over everything.
We can't skip over this.
But we're gonna start skipping over things very soon.
Very soon, in about an hour of cutscenes and 20 minutes of gameplay mixed in somewhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of cutscenes now.
We got access to a bunch of new espers.
And how many of them are we going to use?
Like 1. Oh, 2.
So yeah, I think we go up to 2. Five is a cutscene simulator because it has like just as many cutscenes as 6, but it's also like an hour and a half shorter for a full game run. Maybe Celeste would love Locke a little bit more if he wasn't dressed up like a merchant.
Yeah.
He's just trying to sell the wares he steals.
From what I've seen, he doesn't have a very good business model.
No, he doesn't. He's got an issue getting the wares. Need to get that off you.
So we're actually manipulating this minecart section as well. Magitech Factory has been checking statuses and who the lead party member was throughout different parts, and changing it here as well is part of the manipulation, which is why we also don't want to put Phantom on. You can put Phantom on as a safety in some categories, but you don't want to do it until after the first little bit here, and we'll always get the same encounters, which I should be the same as glitchless?
Yeah, it's the same in all 3 main categories.
Yeah. It shouldn't be seed specific at all.
No. Thankfully, this is one manipulation you can do regardless of seed. Same thing with the second Returner's River. At the start of saving scenario, you can do that on any seed. So we just manipulate the minecart. The 4 red mag rotors just give a bunch of money. They give 1200 GP. They also give a lot of experience, and they're just very easy to kill. You don't have to worry about damage rolls, much like the giant blue mag rotors. They also give pretty decent magic. They also have, you get extra shots for skein drops, which in this category don't mean much, but in like no sketch and glitchless, those skein drops can add up to some good money very quickly. Can't run away from the red ones.
So you can see Diana's frantically trying to bring his warp stones up to the top. It's almost like he's going to want to use them here pretty soon.
Yeah.
That's why we try to... So one thing I guess we haven't talked about either is on battles that you finish, so ones where you're not running away, you want to try and close your menus at the end, because you save like 12 frames at the end of each battle, which we have quite a few battles throughout, so if you can try and do that, you can save yourself a good amount of time over the run.
12 frames doesn't sound like a lot, but over the course of a run with this many fights,
That sucks.
That luck.
That was not what I wanted. Actually be... Probably just quicker to die and redo this.
I think so.
Yeah.
A little bit of Esper fun times. Thanks, Locke.
Well, that sucks. Nice.
Try again.
Yep. So I put the wrong Esper on B-Dude. I needed him to have Shoat, and instead he had Modwin, just due to a menu mix-up.
Modwin on Sabin.
Don't need it with the Shoat strats.
Yeah, B-Dude equips Modwin instead Shoat. Somehow this is going to be my fault.
Nope. Critical HP limit breaks are manipulatable. It's very, very... It works about 70% of the time, and a lot of the times the setup isn't worth the time it takes to do it. The speedrunning community was looking at manipulating Strago's limit break for Ultros 3, because it's a one-shot kill. And it just involves looking at certain damage rolls and then doing certain moves with certain people.
Shoat is the faster one because it allows us to finish the run. Because without it, we're not going to learn the spells that we're going to need. And we're going to learn spells that we're not supposed to.
Yeah, this missing Shoat on this minecart means you're down about 15 magic, which is quite lengthy to farm in the overworld. And just going through this is, even though it doesn't seem like it, is much better the quicker option. Limit breaks are very finicky to see, because it's after 28 seconds of in-game battle time, you have a 1 in 16 chance to see it.
I think the TAS uses a lot of limit breaks.
Yeah, the TAS manipulates a lot of it, just because a lot of them are magic damage that ignore magic defense. So like in the TAS, you'll see like Solo Sabin running through Zozo, and then just one-shotting Dadluma. But yeah, you can definitely go through many playthroughs and not see a single one of them.
It shouldn't matter here, but fun little fact about dying and Esper bonuses in this game is when you die, you get to keep all your levels, but you'll lose all of your Esper bonuses, which, said for this spot, that didn't matter so much, but in some other runs, that's super detrimental for everything. And a fun little
nice.
quirk in the game.
You got both arms? Sweet.
Yep. Ooh. Very fast haste.
explained ATV rate, right?
You got this.
Wouldn't hurt to go over it again for any new people joining in.
What, me?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, okay. So what Tiny is doing here is, while his characters are doing an animation, while another character has full ATV, he's just going to wait on the confirmation menu or in any other menu until that animation is over, because when he does this, ATV is paused. And that means both his ATV and the enemy's ATV, so it's just a way of him being able to delay the enemy's actions without actually wasting any time on his own characters. So if you overdo it, then you're not going to regain ATV on your own characters when you might need it. But doing it correctly just means that some enemy actions get delayed just a tiny bit, which might be enough to skip one of his turns.
Can we all give a big old clap for Dine here for remembering to put Stray on Ed? It is probably the hardest menu in this run because it feels so minute and it's such a small little thing, it's such a small little spot. But if we don't do it here, we lose minutes later on because he has to go and learn Imp somewhere else, killing stuff in a desert. So good job, buddy.
Oh, believe me, after that Modwin mix-up, I was like, I better not forget this.
Is it a little bit easier to remember since you have to do that save at least?
Yeah, like with the save, you're in the menu and then you're like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do something else. But with the other two runs, we just yeet skeet right to cranes. So it's very easy to like look over and talk to chat and just go to cranes and you're like, wait, why did I learn Imp? Oh.
So now that we have Setzer, we have access to a really cool ability called Joker Doom. The way that slots work in this game is there's basically a whole RNG table that we can manipulate. So starting off a fight and just throwing off an echo screen and not doing anything else means that we, with some good pause buffering and some timing, we can actually hit the first 7, and then it's just a 20 frame window for the next 2 7s. It's not immediate, but it's a little bit of a timing thing. And there we go, learned Imp. And that's probably the easiest crane fight you're gonna get.
The big thing if you're trying to learn any slots is not to don't pause buffer after you've inputted the first 7. The slots in general kind of helps you out, and it has a homing feature. As B-Dude said, you have 1/3 of a second, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's quite lenient. Where if you're pause buffering the first one, which a lot of people will do for safety, and then as soon as you hit the pause buffer for the second, that 20 frame window now drops down to 7. Because you're breaking that homing feature. It does the same thing for the triple chocobos, the triple diamonds. So like, even though it might seem like the game kind of messes you around when you're trying to get Joker Doom, because it'll be like 7/7 diamond. But under the right circumstances, it does help you out a lot.
Now, say he did actually fail it there. There is a backup for to get it back again, which is just oh, I don't actually have those in my notes. There's the backup for it, and then there's also a backup for if Setzer were to die, because that would also change the RNG a little bit with us having to bring Setzer back to life. Or you could just be a god like this man and just get on the first try.
The one nice thing about Sketch over, say, no Sketch is you only have to do Joker Doom once. No Sketch, even though Joker Doom looks very, very easy in that Cranes fight, in no Sketch, trying to do it through all of the Imperial Air Force does get very, very stressful. Trying to do IAF at level 12 is just stressful to begin with. But then trying to nail it 6 times in a row, it is very easy to just get a little anxious and shoot off the button long before you should, or trying to like thread the needle. Magical Poppin', Mokura. So here that we learn dancing creates a insta-baby.
Insta-baby!
Insta-baby.
And look at little baby QFG, and look at how she's grown up. It's so adorable.
She kind of has that whole butts thing going on where her hair color changed over time. So I think she was a blondie there. Turns into green hair later on. I think Butts is almost actually the opposite. Starts off with green hair as a kid, and then he gets brown hair, I guess. We'll call it dirty blonde for sake of argument.
For posterity.
Exactly.
So coming up, we will be getting a couple of levels. The 21 Revivifies we bought in the Figaro Castle are going to be used here. A lot of enemies in the Sealed Cave are considered undead, so the Revivifies will one-shot kill them. We're not fighting them for the experience, even though it is a nice side effect. We're really looking to gain magic points. Remedy is taught at ×3 speed, so we do need quite a bit of magic. We got some on the minecart, some from 128, some from the cranes. We're kind of just finishing it off, or we're getting ourselves most of the way there through the Sealed Cave. And then through additional story battles, we'll get Locke to finally learn the spell.
No, he's not Bart's, he's Butts, because we're all about the SNES generation here, no PR.
How many no sketch? About 190. Cough.
Didn't even get to 200. Did
Nope.
you even grind?
I didn't, honestly. The first run that got through it, I was like, all right, this is world record. I'm leaving it there.
Good luck, have fun, future generations.
Yep. Oh, 164, I lied, sorry. At least it was still in the hundreds. One kind of neat thing about leaving Kieran there kind of abandoned in life is it also flashes when Terra flashes, which is something I didn't pick up on for the longest time. It's kind of funnier in no sketch because you leave 2 espers there. So Edgar has learned, currently, Edgar has learned Bio, Muddle, and Imp. Locke has learned Sleep, Slow, Mute. Sabin we don't care about because he's not going to be in the final party. So we will be giving Terra Stray. This isn't because we're looking for her to learn Muddle and Imp. Stray gives +1 magic on a level up. So we're going to be gaining a couple of levels here, and then just getting the extra 2 or 3 magic points does make quite a bit of difference, especially for the Ultros 3 fight.
Don't worry, guys. We almost get to do something here pretty soon.
Yep.
Yeah. Soon the cutscenes will be over. We'll have some gameplay, but more cutscenes then.
Get your pen and papers out. Soon we're going to have to do a little bit of counting.
Oh yeah.
We have to make sure that we get a certain amount of magic points on Terra and Locke, but not the same amount. Which When you're on step route, it's not too bad. When you're off step route, it takes a lot more concentration in figuring out what's going on.
Yeah. Locke gets pretty close to, I think Unicorn teaches, I forget what the other spells Unicorn teaches at ×2 speed. But another issue is Terra gaining too many levels, because she learns Drain at level 14, or level 13, but she gains life at level 18. So if you definitely end up taking too many encounters, because the way encounters handle MP is weird. It's not tied to the enemy, it's tied to the encounter. So a single Zombone will give 2 magic points and 500 experience, where 2 Zombones will give 1 magic point and 1,000 experience. So since we're fishing for 10 magic, if you fight 10 2x Zombone packs, the chance of gaining extra levels goes up quite a bit. Which is why something like glitching the smoke bombs to throw them on the enemy will give you the magic, even though everyone's ran away from the fight.
I still hate how 2x Zombones give you less magic points.
Yeah.
So with only taking 2 people into here, our chances of getting preempt or pincered at least are a lot lower. In other categories, we would bring 3 people because it is a little bit quicker to kill off all these things, but this one we really don't want to because we need that experience as well. And trying to have another person run away, ooh, actually that would be terrible to try and micromanage.
Third person with Locke having the sneak ring, thief knife, and the running shoes. He's just such a fast character.
Party size and how many people are alive in your party will change something.
Sorry, go ahead, B-Dude.
I was gonna say, just it changes the odds on what you're gonna get for formation.
So the game was supposed to have a static back pincer side preempt chance that was supposed to work for the entire game. But because of a bug in the code, surprise, surprise, the game modifies those values, as B-Dude said, depending on how many enemy or what enemy pack it is, and how many characters you have in the battle, and how many are alive and how many are dead. So if you brought 4 people to the sealed cave and one of them's dead, the triple ing fights cannot be a back attack. But with 2 wings and a Zombone, your back attack chance goes up because of that one dead character.
Nice preempts, buddy.
I know.
Why'd you smoke bomb the last one, though?
Because I was looking at chat.
Fair enough.
I heard the enemy. I heard the noise and I just held A.
I like that in Sketch you have to go through all of this. In no Sketch we would be going to the floating continent now?
Yep.
Yeah. So we'd skip the entirety of Famasa, but we can't do that on this category because we need Realm to do the Sketch glitch. She's the only one who knows Sketch.
Yeah, sadly the banquet is the trigger for Realm and Sketch to be recruitable. By skipping the banquet, we just lock ourselves out of the little painter. So Locke learned Cure 2. So after this encounter, I've gotten all the magic I need. So if I get any more encounters along the way, I'm just gonna run from them.
And because everything is undead in here, Revivifies just kill them. Revivifies are technically slower than a Phoenix Down, but they're also
A lot
less
cheaper.
expensive.
Really wanted to get that echo screen out of there.
Yeah, I don't really need it anymore.
Yeah.
Something to do in Banquet.
I buy 2 for just
Backup.
marathon safety.
Yeah, just for
And they're
backup.
cheap enough, it doesn't hurt much.
You don't have to time Revivifies in Phoenix Downs. You can just look at it and be like, wow, that is much longer. Come on now.
So with little mini Kefka, the game disables the L and R buttons. You can't even use them in menus for fast navigation. But Kefka himself doesn't have a no-run flag. So even though we can't use L and R, we can still throw a smoke bomb or a warp stone, or you can punch him in the face. But throwing a warp stone does save some, or a smoke bomb, sorry, does save some text. How is that a gold? All right, we're coming back.
You gotta go not jump along the way.
Just need to go 10 more minutes and a half, and you can do
Yeah,
it.
I got this. Actually, only losing 4 minutes on the minecart. I thought I was going to lose more than that. The sketch glitch. So there are some molds that will corrupt your SRAM. But if you ended up just taking out the battery and letting the RAM flush out, the cart would be good to go after that. It's just back in the 90s and early 2000s, no one thought about taking apart their cartridge to take out the battery. It has happened to a bunch of people, and like definitely at the time it did see like it corrupted the cartridge. But there is ways around it with just a simple gambit.
It's always gambits with you.
I know, right?
Next time he says, hey, do you want to go for a drive? I'll take you somewhere. I'm not taking it. Be like, that green might actually still last. Ah, gambit. Don't look. Oh no, not the hot plate strats. So we could just walk out, but we could also save a small amount of time and warp stone out. Assuming this is just the greatest menu you've ever seen.
Nailed it. Totally didn't fumble even though I was already on it.
Didn't go down, up, and then back to where we started.
Yep. The one unfortunate thing about this run is we get no sketch skips a lot of the cutscene heavy segments and is about 10 minutes slower. This you get to see a lot of the cutscene segments. So here, even though we've not had much access to the airship, we basically drove it off the lot around the corner and then we crashed it. So I think we earned our beginner's permit. So now we're stuck to just using our legs like suckers.
And by that, we're actually not even going to use our own legs.
Nope. Thankfully, Setzer was a good enough driver to crash us right by a chocobo stable.
We changing our party leader again?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Really, I've never seen a sketch run. Neither have we, Odie. we're all just kind of winging it.
Winging the most complicated glitch in the game? I think we're doing fine. What do you think is most complicated, this or New Game Plus?
New Game Plus by far. New Game
Damn.
Plus is a very execution heavy run. Sketch Glitch is just kind of like, hey, you remembered to learn the correct spells? Congratulations.
Even no sketch, just with the timer shenanigans and the execution with that is...
Doesn't this also have timer shenanigans?
It uses the Tizen timer, but in no sketch, using the Jador timer to warp around Kefka's tower is a lot scarier than tent warping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, essentially we're just going to be carrying this timer and just having it with us till the end, whereas you have to actively use the... not to the frame, but it's definitely very tight
Yeah,
for the movement.
using all the 2.5 second intervals.
Yeah.
We tried to make
That's
friends
better.
with the Espers, and we completely failed. So they torched Vector.
And now we show up like, yo, my bad, guys.
Look, we
Oops,
tried to overthrow
sorry.
you, but my bad.
So a little thing that Dine did there is you can actually stand on that transition tile and then just wait for our escort to show up there, do a quick in-out, and then he'll just teleport all the way down, and we save a good amount of time, A, waiting for him to walk in, and then B, he'll just stay he will stay in our way the entire way down if we don't do that quick transition in-out. And we have sprint shoes, and he does not.
Can't even spring for the Royal Guard. So, unlike Glitchless, where we try to get the charm bangle and be as diplomatic as possible, in this run, we're going to do very, very little, and we're probably going to make the Emperor very angry at us. Oh, sir, Megas. I know running around with Merchant Lock's nice, but that's going to screw up my menuing.
So normally we would try to talk to 23 people, have a whole bunch of good diplomatic talking. Here, we're just going to ransack the place, kill a couple of guys, and basically tell the Empire to screw off.
Yeah. So the back guard and Gale Hairpin are worth roughly 8,000 GP. They're two items that are just insanely hard to miss, especially since we basically have all the time in the world. Grab this for safety.
Yeah, the banquet doesn't actually start until that timer ticks down, and you have a lot of time to kill while it's ticking down, so you can do whatever you want.
So we're going to fight this Mega Armor and one guard?
No, just the Mega Armor.
Okay, we got the level we need.
Yeah.
So after this, it's just going to be a bunch of inventory setup for the glitch coming up. You know, the big one that this whole thing is named after. I guess a little bit of shopping stuff too, but
Yeah.
it's about the glitch.
Yeah, Terra's the only one that can use the morph ability. And even though that fight was slow, it still doesn't matter. We have more than enough time.
So you'll see a little bit of manipulation stuff he's doing here, like changing the order of the spells. That's going to put the spells that we need where we want them to be. He's going to be counting down here to a very specific spot in the menu. And we're going to be placing our tents there. For absolutely no reason, I promise. What draws you to this category? Please tell me that's a pun. Also, I guess the length of it is probably like the big thing. The length of it, no sketch is like just a little bit longer. But that's if you
no
get to
sketch
finish
is also way harder and way more RNG heavy than this.
If you wanted a nice, like, shorter, beginner-friendly run, and you want to do the full thing and not just a Kefka and Arch run, sketch would probably be the one I would point you to.
Sketch is definitely the easier one to get your feet wet. If you're looking into, like, the glitched speedrunning.
Okay, so your tents are in the right spot?
I lost count. I had to turn down the commentary volume.
Oh, sorry.
I started going down and I lost count. And I was like, odd!
I was like, do I talk quiet over this so you can count it, or do I explain what's going on?
I can always just turn you down in the headset.
There
See,
you go.
that's all we need to do is now we're just kind of waiting it out. Wait, did I get an extra sneak ring? Oh, I did. Oh, baby.
Also, always nice when you get extra things.
Well, not all. I really hate getting an X potion because I had to fight an Anglo form in the
Yeah.
bench.
It's nice when you get the down from it.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, good, I have an extra thing, and everything sits where it's supposed to. X potion, you're like, oh, now I have to work around this stupid thing.
Why not fight the guard? So something very interesting happens at the banquet. If after this whole banquet sequence, the game resets your current experience. So at the end of this sequence, everyone gets party average to Terra's level, and everyone gets treated as a fresh level up. So in a couple of the older routes, or depending on your EXP route, you would fight one commando in that room where I got the tincture with the 6 soldiers to get Terra that extra level. If I fought extra guards, because this sequence is going to wipe that extra experience I got, it's technically a waste of time because the timer does pause for 0.3 of a second between room transitions, going into battle and going out of battle. So you're losing a very minute amount of time for something that's not going to help out. So with the banquet, I'm just turboing A. And just trying to keep it going, progressing as fast as I can. I'm not going to stop for the break. We don't care about the rewards here. Just because...
So make sure you don't walk to the camp after.
Yep. Just because there's not going to be a lot of encounters left, and the charm bangle isn't going to save the time it takes to get it.
Happens if you accidentally press right instead of down in this conversation? The exact same thing. Holding right with options will make you force a down input. Holding left will force an up input. But we don't do either of those right now, so we just put the controller down, hold A, and go grab some coffee. Feel less disappointing with this new skin.
Yeah. I like it. The troops have withdrawn from South Figaro. Were you expecting anything else?
Party's like, I haven't even been to those other towns, so I don't care.
So for some reason, this is the only building in Vector, and I think in the entire game, that you can warpstone out of a town in. I don't know the exact reason for it. I think it's because Vector was technically considered a dungeon. with the Meiji-Tech Research Facility, and they just forgot to add that flag to that one room. But it did proc LCC to try every house in the rest of the game to see if it could work there. So that was a fun adventure.
As soon as he saw one, he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I know what I must do.
So here, normally in most runs, you would pick up the White Dress and Jador. We haven't really needed the extra magic for Terra until now. A lot of Terra's equipment in the speedruns are always, or Celis's for that instance, is always geared around what gives the biggest magic boost. So that Magus hat we bought in Nikia, we're going to be using for the rest of the run, even though there's not much left. Because the Magus hat gives +5 to magic. The White Dress also gives +5 to magic, and an Elemental Saber, so like your Blizzard, your Thunder Rod, or your Flame Saber, will give +2 to magic. So with those 3 pieces of equipment, you get a pretty sizable magic boost for really doing nothing.
Which is good considering you don't get it from, we were talking about before, you don't get it from level ups unless you have an Esper on. And most of our level ups happen before we get Espers. So if we can grab whatever we can to boost it without really doing anything, we're going to take it.
Vector doesn't exist in the world of Ruin. Vector's one of the places that get just wiped off the map, unfortunately. Or maybe it turns into Kefka's Tower, I don't know. I don't know, like,
Yeah,
the lore behind it.
It looks the same.
Yeah.
Block is trying to impress Celeste with his new cosplay. Doesn't seem to be working out.
Look, Kutan, I know you were a Moogle. Now you're a beautiful general. I was a dirty thief, and now I'm just a dirty merchant. Can you forgive me for thinking that you were a traitor? Here's a potion.
You fight Guardian in Kefka's Tower? I beg to differ.
What's a guardian?
Yeah.
Good question.
Are there bosses in Kefka's Tower?
I thought Kefka's Tower was just 5 rooms.
That's all I remember seeing.
Mhm.
I don't know of this Ultima weapon. I don't know of this Inferno. I don't know of this Poltergeist.
I have no idea what the Doom is.
Yeah, I don't know what this Doom and Pearl immunity you speak of is. These are all foreign
Mhm.
objects.
What's a goddess Dine? I don't know that one either.
I don't know.
Can't hurt us.
I heard it's supposed to be this magical being. But
So in
All
about,
of them. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, in about like 25 minutes or so, I'm gonna need everyone to grab their notebooks and their pens because there's gonna be a test after this, and there's gonna be a lot of information being thrown at you. So just make sure you guys get ready for that. But until then, Cutscene City!
Cutscenes, so many cutscenes.
So interestingly enough, No Sketch is roughly, what, 10-ish minutes slower than
yeah,
Sketch? We have to do World of Ruin shenanigans in No Sketch, but we get to skip all of the Massa, so it's kind of 10 minutes more of time playing, but you get way more actual gameplay time.
excellent way of putting it.
I was stumbling up over it, so I was like, wait, this is getting confusing.
This category might be shorter, but it's also a lot more time where you just mash through text.
But
Smash.
I just hold A.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
But it also this is also one of the nicer categories because there isn't much in the terms of time loss from really like Sealed Cave onward. And Sealed Cave you could even really debate with it being a time swing, or like a significant time swing, because everything pretty much from the banquet onwards, even though there's only about an hour left of the run, a lot of it is just pure cutscenes.
It's a little bit weird because you're changing gears because it's just going to be lots of cutscenes and not a lot going on, and then all of a sudden it's boom, it's go time, and there's not a lot of room for major errors.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. From the moment the cutscenes stop, it's just like what 15 minutes of straight hard execution.
About 10.
Yeah.
I'd say probably about
Even
6,
less.
because the Kefka cutscene's like 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, that was also pretty big.
So it's like 6 good minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, but it's really good gameplay. A really special gameplay.
Kefka's tower is right between Tizen and Elbrook, just like Vector. Ooh, Dodgington, I didn't think of that. That's a very good point.
So this is probably one of the harder walks to do in the game just because it's not very intuitive, but there's a lot of no encounter tiles that we're trying to hit here. Like, I think along the green part there, it's like 80% no encounter tiles if you do it properly.
This whole walk is like 14 no encounter tiles. It's pretty daunting.
I may still have it written in my notes on how to actually walk through it.
That's definitely one of the trickier ones. Because with some of the other walks, you got a little bit of leeway, because encounter tiles are kind of surrounded by no encounter tiles. Where it's here, it's just kind of like if you misstep once, you're kind of up Poops Creek.
John's making a statement with that shopping menu after I've been busting him on some of the other ones.
Yep.
I could feel the try-harding in that
Oh
one.
yeah, no, I was like, this is one you can't really mess up until I sell a sprint shoe, and I'm like, oh man.
For Is this easily the best 6 category?
My heart is with No Sketch and Glitchless. Glitchless will always be my favorite. No Sketch is a very close second.
I haven't done No Sketch yet, but I still think... I feel Glitchless is just the definitive run. It is like the any percent, and then everything else is just based around it. Despite the fact that it's the shortest any percent run. Here it comes. Good ol' A's at the beginning. Oh.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
MS
I love
Paint.
it.
MS Paint.
MS Paint. Oh, it's perfect.
It's really RPG Mel. It depends. If you're looking for just beating a game just by pure of its own mechanics, Glitchless is definitely for you. If you want to play through the game and use a lot of the fun glitches, No Sketch is definitely the run for you. Sketch, I don't like the pacing of Sketch personally. Some people really like it. So it's all just what you want out of a run.
And Sketch is the most accessible just because it's the shortest and easiest of the short ones. To kind of get yourself used to things while still doing a full run. But I think most of the time I've seen people learning the game just through Kefka and Narsh runs. Just because that's like a bite-sized hour and a half. Meanwhile, everyone else is like, well, the run starts after Kefka and Narsh.
But yeah, Kefka Nourish is definitely a good intro category. You learn a lot of the important parts of the run very early. ATB waiting, you get a good feeling for the step route. For inventory management as well.
Not a lot of menus, but like some easier ones. But yeah, the menus don't really pick up until like so once you
Yeah.
get Vespers and stuff. Yeah, 1 GP for a night at the inn. Wouldn't it be crazy if you just couldn't even afford
I know,
that?
like, what kind of noob would do
Yeah,
that?
I know.
How can you be so broke you can't afford a 1 GP in? Shake my head.
I remember that day. It was glorious.
Can you imagine how embarrassing that would be?
My first sketch run, even though I ran glitchless and no sketch for about 19 months at that point, I was so excited in my first sketch run, I had exact money to buy all the rods I needed. And then I got to the end and my brain just imploded. So I had to do the walk of shame to the weapon shop, sell a tincture so I could afford to sleep at the inn.
I would have tried to find like a rare item to sell. I don't need this extra thief knife. Bam.
I'm gonna mute you guys for this.
Okay.
Go,
So what
go
I'm
nuts.
going to be doing here is called the burning house manipulation. So we're going to be watching the movement of the first flame just up here. We're going to watch it so it goes upright, upright. This lets us know that the NPC value is where we want it, and from then we can actually manipulate walking through this entire thing without getting any encounters. The unfortunate thing is we don't really know where we're starting, and the NPC value is rifling really quick, even when you're just standing there. So we just hope that we can try and find it in like 10 or less doors. But upright, upright is what we're looking for. This, in theory, or in general, is faster than just trying to yeet skeet your way through. Although if you did have like a perfect run through without doing the manipulation, A, you're a god gamer, and B, you would save a good amount of time. But this will be it right here. So you'll be able to see he can actually
There we go.
run right past this one, bonk on those guys. You need pretty quick movement in there. Although if you lose a couple of frames, there is a backup NPC value called NPC 28. It does require different movement through that previous room, but after that, it's pretty easy movement for the rest of this. And we made it.
What was that one fireball movement on like door 5 or 6?
Where it like kind of went right, but like stuttered?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I seen that and I was like,
Alright, so the flame meter is just super easy fight. You just warp Terra and you break a nice road and it's dead.
And you're still going to want to try and hold on to as much morph as possible. This is one of those fights that we're going to finish, but probably still not even try and close any menus at the end, just to hold on to as much as possible. Because you'll see it still does drain a little bit. Okay, maybe a little bit is not quite the word I was looking for. It drains quite a bit.
you don't have a lot of morph to play with, so like any time you're out of the menu, it goes down very quickly.
But yeah, that was like coming close to 20 doors before we actually got that manipulation, which is unlucky.
Yeah, if you can get it under, I don't know if the commentators were talking about, if you can get it under about 7 doors, it's the same as a 1 encounter burning house. So you're very much, YOLOing it will always be faster. A lot of runners will just take the consistency over doing the manipulation.
I was busy. I was too focused on if you're a god gamer and just wanted to yeet skeet it versus doing the doors.
Honestly, it looked like it was going to be like a 7 door, and then I seen that upright movement. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know where I am anymore.
You get upright, you get a little excited, and then usually when I've seen it, it usually goes upright and then down. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is going to be like 14 doors.
So morph, what morph does is it universally doubles any damage Taro deals, and it will reduce the magic damage he takes by 50%. So keeping the morph for Flame Eater and again for Ultros coming up greatly saves you just animation time and a little bit of money, because you're basically getting a rod for free. Now with Flame Eater, even though we dealt 8,560 damage. Half of that damage is coming from an elemental weakness. So yes, Terra is kind of the destroyer of worlds, but you still need a lot of help from picking the right rod for the right fight.
Wouldn't it be nice if we could just grab Realm right now?
I know. It'd be
Realm,
so
wanna come with
nice.
me? Save me
We
like
do,
25
this whole
minutes.
thing.
We
Yeah.
could skip the whole Thamasa cutscene. Did I grab that warp stone in Albrook?
Yes.
I did?
You have a menu coming. Oh no, wait, you don't.
I can check it during the Ultros 4 fight. If need be, I can just go back to Thamasa and buy another one before IAF cutscene.
I think 6 rod breaking is more broken because you can just go and buy... Oh no, wait, you can buy rods in 5 too. Rod breaking is more broken in 6 because it also applies to shields. There. Oh, I'm not sure where you put your warp stones right now.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
It's way down in no man's land.
I was definitely trying to look for it while you were smoke bombing.
So one, if you're learning glitchless or sketch, this is really the only part of the step route where you need to be fast and kind of accurate while Realm is on the screen. Threat can't be generated, so anytime the little artist is around, you basically have free no encounter tiles. So if you're doing some practice and you notice you're falling behind, even though you're walking correctly, it's just because Realm has already gone off the screen.
She's already breaking the game. Well, the game's rules. So, we're gonna have another Ultros fight.
Oh god. Will he just stop having so much screen time?
Ultros just loves having the attention all on himself.
Just for you, Diane, I'll cut him out of the last act.
Oh, thank you. I can't thank you enough, good sir. You are a king among kings.
So we're just going to be using Thunderstones here because, lesser known fact, Ultros is weak to Thunder as well as Fire. And so when we boost our magic power all crazy with Morph, you can see that Terra does some pretty dumb damage.
So Ultros has 22,000 hit points. After you've dealt over 10,000 damage, Realm is flagged to show up. You can sketch to end the fight. Sketch can miss just because of the level difference, where rods will not miss.
I like how at this point the game can't decide if Locke is supposed to be a merchant or not.
I know, you can see it actively fighting against itself.
It's like on the ship he was normal, and then here,
Oh. Alright.
that works.
Yep. Might be short a little bit of damage. Yeah. I should have had Realm throw it.
I say you could sketch for the fans.
I actually don't know if the sketch glitch would trigger.
Oh, fair enough.
I know it would in sketch all characters and espers. I don't know about sketch any percent. Because in sketch ace, it removes your goggles.
Cool.
Which are kind of important.
Yeah, pretty much. For this fight, because we don't do our goggles until after that fight.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it pretty much kills the run because you don't have the goggles to equip anymore.
It's my boys. In the all characters and espers sketch run, these 5 slurms are the encounter that we look for to. How many sketch glitches do you actually do in that one fight? Like,
2.
Is it only 2?
Yeah.
I was gonna say like 3 or so.
You use sketch 3 times. The third one's kind of just for inventory manipulation. All right, so this is the part coming up where like a lot of people kind of dread in the speedrun. It's a good like 14, 13 minutes of just pure cutscenes, which is great if you have a turbo controller because you can go make a sandwich.
I've literally just gone and heated something up in the microwave, came back and have eaten.
Yeah, like there is one small walking segment where you need to walk Leo to Kefka, but this is most of the time for a lot of us where we end up getting like a big raid from someone or just a raid in general, and you're like, hey guys, welcome to cutscenes.
I hope you like kid sprites because we're gonna see them for a while.
So here you can see all of your favorite espers. Red dragon, and blue dragon, and green dragon. There's 2 sylph-looking things. And then the werewolves from Final Fantasy V. Oh, and I guess there's a Maduine in the middle of the screen, too.
Yep. The wolf guy is just Fenrir. We got Bahamut, Neo Bahamut, Bahamut Zero. Where's the Esper Roba? Favorite Esper? Alexander. Alexander always just has had a very cool animation.
BC yesterday at the auction house gave me Alexander. It teaches Bio, Ultima, and Stop, I think.
Oh.
And Magic Power +2.
Oh, dang.
But no one can equip it.
Oh.
Oh no.
I got so excited and I'm like, oh.
What's everyone else's in chat's favorite Esper?
I think mine would have to be Bahamut because I have a thing for dragons.
Dragons are definitely nice. They're always generally my top choice, but Alexander, it's just in 6 and 9, I know he's in the other ones and I don't remember. Like even in 13, he's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Liking some Bismarck love. Free
Owen
Willy!
is a pretty good choice too.
So anyone in chat, if you had to pick a number between 0 and 3, what would you pick? I have absolutely no reason why I'm asking this. It's purely hypothetical.
You're really hypothetical.
Sap would influence, or slow would influence Sap's damage. It would make the ticks happen less frequently, because haste would make them handle more frequently.
Why has no one has said
There's
I yet?
quite a few people answering.
.967. We're gonna have almost a fireball.
Almost.
I'd assume it does Mokura if it follows the way poison acts. Unless there's something specially coded about that. Sap under that circumstance in the speedrun, you just never really come across. And Sap's one of those things where it's like as soon as you get it, you try to get rid of it.
If 0 is between 0 and 3, obviously yes, because otherwise, if it isn't, then you wouldn't be able to pick 3 either, it'd just be 1 and 2.
All good, Makura, and I'll answer if I have the knowledge. It's just I don't have anything for sure that I would stand behind.
Every once in a while, you get a very niche question.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I've never tried it, so I've never looked or thought about it.
But it's also like there's no real, true documentation on SAP. So it's like you just kind of look at the poison guidelines and you're like, oh, all right, I guess it could work like that.
I love that you kill Big Kefka and then Chibi Kefka is the dangerous one.
Yep.
Well, he is technically a party member, and the ones you got to keep your eyes on the most are the ones closest to you.
True.
How do you revive General Leo? Heavy sketch glitching, or playing the game to World of Ruin and then death warping back to the World of Balance. I don't know how long you get to keep them with the second option, but the second option is probably the easier of the two. Or the game genie.
It's fine. He's probably not even that good a character anyway.
No. He's only got the offering and a crystal shield.
Crystal shield, I sell that.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
The one thing for me, like when I played this casually as a kid, is always like you've seen those 2 empty party slots. So you were like, well, we got to control Leo and Bannon, so they must fill it. So then you spend 3 months of your childhood trying to run around trying to revive Leo. Then you come across those weird game facts threads where it's like, if you defeat 10,000 Tyrannosaurs, you'll get a special item that can revive them.
Between that and Smash Bros. Melee, GameFAQs has really trolled me.
Yeah.
On a lot of different things I wasted time on.
For me, it was Pokemon Red. Like, I had the Spanish version of Pokemon Red, so most of the glitches there were patched. I tried so long getting the signal, and I just couldn't. I was so sad.
So Leo and Bannon both occupy the same guest character slot. So if you end up doing the Death Warp that we were talking about earlier, where if you save around like Terra scenario, because of the way the game handles warping to a save, Bannon's character data will be overwritten by Leo's. So you get to use him for a few battles. I don't know the intricacies of it outside of that. Just the glitch itself just doesn't seem entertaining to do, where you play 3/4 of the game and then death warp back to the beginning. So I don't know how the game handles it outside of something like that.
Hope you guys remember your number that you guessed, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're going to guess how many of these animations you get to see.
Oh, what? Whoever guessed 0, congratulations. You win absolutely nothing except bragging rights over the people that bet 1, 2, and 3.
Congratulations.
And anyone that wanted a meme with 1.5 or 0.96, you're also wrong.
Yep.
Some people picked 4. Don't be 4, silly. If it only throws 3 fires.
Unless it's Pixel Remaster, then it's always 1.
So we're just about out of the massa. We're not quite out of cutscene central yet. We get to control for what, 2 steps and an A push?
2 steps and a buffered A.
Yeah. And then we get to watch a little bit more. But then it's go time.
Oh yeah, because we're not going to the floating continent. We're not even going to the floating continent.
No, but I have to be really careful in about 10 minutes to really not go to the floating continent. Gao time? No. We already
never
have
Gao
Gao.
time.
He's kicking around on the airship, I swear. Even though he's not in the cutscenes, he's in our hearts.
He's keeping that bench mighty toasty.
Yep. Don't worry, he's gonna get his time to shine very soon, though.
Oh yeah.
Go-Go time? No. We'll visit Go-Go's home, but we're not going to recruit Go-Go.
And visit in kind of the same way that you would like the Kool-Aid Man visits someone's house. We're gonna break down the wall, yell, "Oh yeah!" and then we're gonna leave.
Leave.
This is the end of the game? In this run, yes. In every other
Yeah,
self-respecting run, no.
Beautifully worded.
Alright.
And we play the video game now.
Alright,
Well-
gameplay, everyone.
That
Absolute
was our gameplay.
perfection. Did the safety save there just in case I hit the B too early. Because no one wants to watch the Masa again.
Fair enough.
I struggle to see. Just you wait, Drew Stew. Just you wait. In another, 3 minutes, we'll finish it, I swear. But we just need to watch another cutscene. I think the bigger question is, how are we finishing World of Ruin in 20 minutes with level 11 characters?
The answer? Quite easily.
World of Ruin.
Yes.
Schizophrenic. The world after this world. It's just over the next hill. The GPS says we'll be there in 4 minutes.
So Opus is divided into parts. The World of Balance, which is where we are on right now, and then the World of Ruin. World of Ruin is really interesting because it's an entire extra part of the game that the developers just had the time to make because they finished World of Balance well ahead of schedule. This game was literally supposed to end on Kefka winning and the world being destroyed, but then the developer said, "Oh, we have time, maybe we can actually make a happy ending."
Then they did World of Ruin and fell behind on time. It's beautiful how that always works out.
Why is it this long to execute the sketch glitch? Because we finally got access to the character that can use sketch. The last 3.5 hours has all been building up to us being able to use the character to get the glitch.
Don't go to Floating Continent.
I need to go to Floating Continent here.
Continent.
So if you click on Floating Continent and then you put 4 people in your party, it'll be, hey, we told you to put 3 of them there, not 4. Try again. And then we can just remake a party there. We're specifically placing our airship right here for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
We're also just resetting the console for no reason whatsoever.
So we're going to be walking through here, and we want the save reset guarantees that we get an Intangier here. And so Dime's going to be doing a lot of stuff here. We're going to be trying to make sure that Terra runs away in this fight. when we're casting Imp on someone, essentially we're going to be doing a lot of memory corruption and such. So casting Imp on someone, it writes a 1 to memory, and then healing the Imp writes a 0 to the memory. And then using something like a tincture, an ether, an elixir, anything that's going to heal your MP will also write a 1 to memory. If you guys know a little bit about stale reference manipulation, that's essentially what we're kind of doing here. So, like watching here, you want to make sure that the Imp hits before you try and use the green cherry, because we have just enough green cherries for what we need. There goes Terra. So the way that the sketch glitch is going to be working here is when it misses, a lot of really magical things happen. So it's going to miss and... Oh, it just straight up missed. Hang on, we're looking. We're counting to make sure that stuff is... Never learned Remedy?
No.
Okay. We're off to go learn Remedy.
Huh? Got it. Oh, that kind of backfired. Oh, never mind.
Calculated. Oh, baby. That was amazing.
What did luck? Oh, maybe because of the minecart.
Yeah, the minecart might have made it a little bit iffy.
What?
You got 3 skeins there as well.
I can use imp to unimp.
And you have all the curatives?
I got 3 tinctures.
Okay. So now that we have the correct spell in the 28th slot, the game is going to... Okay, so basically the 28th slot is what the game is going to look for the sketch glitch, as well as where like all the other spells are along the way, which is why it's very imperative. But we need to make sure something's in the 28th to get an effect that we're looking for. So again, we're going to be setting our 1s and 0s off. This is why we need to make sure that we learn all the spells that we're supposed to learn so that we can actually get the right spell into that 28th slot. And using Imp to unimp is the same thing as using a green cherry to unimp. It's just the fact that the game looks at, did you heal the imp or not? The imp status, I should say. So again, we're going to try and have Terra run away. Which, usually she's not too much of an issue trying to run away in this fight. And so when the sketch glitch misses an enemy on the 1.0 cart, it takes the enemy's towel, it flips it around for the animation like you normally see when you do the actual sketch attack. And then when it misses, the sprite isn't actually a 16 by 16, but goes to 255. And then this is where, after a lot of experimentation, you can get a whole bunch of different effects depending on what it is that you're sketching and your setups for it as well. So even like in Sketch Ace, we need to make sure that we have 5 slurms instead of 2 slurms because we actually end up getting different effects on it.
There we
And
go.
there we go. Sketch glitch happens. This is totally normal. That pointer that we have, that's totally whatever it is. That tent that we put down into slot, I believe 94, we have a lot of them now instead of just the one that we got from Ghost Train.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, cranes.
Oh, that's the cranes? Oh, right, that is the cranes one. And so now the game is basically just trying to figure out what all happened. So this sketch glitch can take up to a couple of minutes to kind of figure out what's going on, depending on the frame that you hit it on. And so we can kind of just sit here, get ourselves set up a little bit. And what's going to end up happening is we're gonna get every single status ailment in the game. One of them being Engulf, which there's only one enemy that actually uses Engulf in this game, and that's where we kind of just Kool-Aid Man our way into... Well, you'll see. So this is probably one of the spots where a run can kind of be make or break, and it's just hit the right frame. Hey, buddy?
Yep. Just hope for the best. It's not looking good.
However...
Oh, there we go.
Here we go. There is one frame where the
getting-
game can just not activate anything. So here we are in Zone Eater. And Zone Eater is only in one part of the game, which so happens to be the World of Ruin. So Terra was technically dead. Don't ask questions why. And so we can just bring her back. And when we leave Zone Eater, we're in the World of Ruin. Sort of. So when we go into places, the game is constantly checking to make sure that we've finished the floating continent. We never went to the floating continent. So things are going to get really weird here really quick, and we can abuse this very much. So obviously the first thing we're going to do now that we're in the World of Ruin / World of Balance, kind of, because we never actually finished, floating continent, we're just gonna go see what Saban's doing here. Surely he's fine. Oh look, never mind. I guess a whole bunch of stuff did get destroyed. So we are in the World of Ruin right now. However, when we go into a town and we leave a building, the game goes, hang on, you never finished the floating continent. So when we leave, we're back in the World of Balance. Easy peasy, we can leave right away. Now you may notice that we still have a bit of a timer happening. That's just Saban trying to get as many reps in as he can holding up that house. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
That thing in the bottom right corner, I swear that's canon.
It's always been there, you've just never realized it.
So we're doing the Kefka, or entering Kefka cutscene right now, because this will update what everyone's coordinates are. And a little bit about coordinates is basically wherever you leave a character, anywhere, the game will go, okay, you were left here, and that's where you should be. We're gonna abuse this very quickly, but we need to make sure we get through this cutscene first, so that it doesn't all get erased. So we come here, we go, wow, this place is pretty cool. And then we leave. It's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. The shaking, totally normal. I'm pretty sure everyone's game does this.
Hi, Daryl.
Hi, Daryl. Everyone, don't forget to say hi to Daryl. Now remember, we're going to be doing a bit of a screen transition inside of a building. Look, we're back in the World of Balance. That's crazy.
Don't go to floating continent. Don't go to floating continent.
So, if you
go
want
to
to
the
hear about
floating continent.
some really weird stuff in this game is, I don't know if the developers got lazy or what, but there's a few spots in the game where they share the exact same coordinates. It just so happens that this spot right here, as well as the spot in South Figaro, also share the coordinates with the top of Kefka's tower. So by putting our characters there and then changing the party leader, their coordinates get stuck in Mobless, which, as we mentioned before, is the same as the top of Kefka's tower. So we have two characters that are basically in Mobless / South Figaro / top of Kefka's tower, which is totally not abusable whatsoever. So we're going to make sure that those characters really don't get to see any real screen time so that they can still, quote unquote, be there. So going over to Locke's party here, we got a whole bunch of really busted equipment from doing the sketch glitch. You saw sword breakers, there's some flame shields in there. Unfortunately, we don't really get to use them. Oh, remember those status elements, by the way? Magitech armor is a status element. We don't get to actually use them, but you get to see them.
Oh yeah, we are back on the Magitech armor.
So we're basically ripping our way down so that we can get to a save point. Some glitch in here that I'm sure a lot of people know is the save anywhere glitch. As long as you have a character standing on a save point and then you change the party, you can save with the person that isn't on a save point because the game hasn't actually updated it yet, as long as you haven't moved. And so with that sounds like, what else can you do with save points again, Dine? I'm kind of forgetting here.
You can do a form of map warping called tent warping.
Oh, you can use tents!
As long as you don't move, as long as you don't take a step.
So you'll notice Gao's supposed to be on the screen here, but we actually interrupt our party leader with the tent. So we're kind of storing two characters now. So the game goes, wait, so you wanted to change the party leader, but I didn't actually get to, like, see that. And then you just wanted to use a tent? Sure, whatever. The game doesn't think we're going to do anything weird. I don't know why the game still trusts us at this point, but it does. We're going to do a little bit of coordinate storage with lock right there. And then when we swap our parties, voila! The game goes, wait, your coordinates are supposed to be at the top of Kefka's tower because we were in Moblez, but we're not in Moblez, so this is where you're supposed to be. I'm sure of it. And here we have just skipped 90% of Kefka's tower. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, everyone is going to be in the same spot, though. Isn't that bad? No. What happens here is we're storing coordinates on top of the switches. Because the game doesn't check, are all three switches pushed? The game checks, are there 3 people on switches? So, all we need to do is a little bit of coordinate storage again with our tents. And some very magical stuff is going to happen here right away. Do you guys like group hugs? I know I like me some group hugs. And we're going to have a game-winning group hug.
So we have to switch the party leader on the save spot. This stops a soft lock from happening, where if you don't switch party leaders on the save point, what happens is when you fall down the hole, the secondary character of the party spawns underneath the hole. So when you go to fall down the hole, you soft lock because Edgar will be standing on Gao's head. Or Terra will be standing on top of Setzer's head. So by switching the party leader, you're kind of putting that secondary sprite at a known location.
And now you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, good job. Do you want to hit the A button there, friendo?
Oh, nope. I had it on auto fire, which apparently was not working.
The game's gonna go, or you guys are probably thinking like, okay, cool, you didn't have to fight anything at all, but you still have to fight the tiers. And all I can tell you is losing is winning.
Yes.
You're gonna notice that little timer thing on the bottom right, after this cutscene, it's gonna just stop moving. It will die. That thing in the bottom right is the timer of Sabin holding the house up, and when it stops moving, that's when the timer hits zeros. What happens when it hits 0 there, Dine?
So what happens is Sabin's going to get crushed by that house. The load-bearing Hojo is sadly just not going to be load-bearing anymore. So even though, as you can see, we do have a lot of time left over, the only way you can technically game over in the tiers fight is with the Annihilation text box. If you get taken out of it with, say, another cutscene, or using an enemy ability like Baba Breath, for instance, since the game's didn't expect you to get out of that battle any other way than either winning or party wiping, because we got taken out of it, not by Annihilation text box, we win the video game. And this is how New Game Plus, Sketch, and No Sketch all handle Kefka's Tower. Variations of different tent warping or map warping. But the end result is all just the same. We call that timer Coup. The Jador timer is Timer Chan. This game has a huge family of timers. You see a lot more of them in No Sketch than you will in Sketch. But this game has 5 or 6 different timers you can kind of mess around with and break the game in various different ways. Oh, time is coming up in a couple of seconds.
Oh yeah, time is really soon.
I'm sorry for that. Oh, hi, Sabin. And time.
Time. Hi, Sabin.
Hi, Sabin. Hi, Sabin.
We win the video game.
And congratulations, we beat Kefka.
That's probably the hardest fight. Well executed, by the way. Well
Thank you.
executed
You know
fight.
what? I was a little worried after
Very
not learning
well,
Remedy,
very well.
but
I still can't believe
we got
Nintendo
through
gave you
it.
Remedy.
I can't. I did. You know what? I should have checked Remedy during the banquet sequence and took on a fireball fight. I was probably like 2 MP away. I was so sheepish when I seen that. I was like, no.
So to those of you that say that there are boss fights in Kefka's Tower, I didn't see any of them.
Nope.
I didn't see anything. Kefka's shower just flew past.
We lost a lot of time to shenanigans, which, sorry to QFG. I'll try to be better next time.
Underestimate.
Yep.
Underestimate time, that's the most important part.
If you guys want to give each other a little shout out.
There's Pharaoh, she streams.
There's B dude, he's cool.
Sweet.
I guess Dyne does stuff too once in a while.
I'm washed
I guess
up.
if you guys really like the brokenness of just the mechanical side of Final Fantasy VI, I hear that there's a YouTube series going up called 10 Things You Didn't Know About Final Fantasy VI. You should check that out and just see if you know any of those 10 things that you probably didn't know about 6. That's all I got.
Thank you again for Questing for Glory for allowing us to show this run off. It is a little bit of a cursed run when it comes to marathons. I didn't help with that, but it was still very, very fun to show a bunch of new people on just the other side of FF6, from glitchless being the main category.
6 is a cool game, has a lot of cool categories. If you're interested, definitely join their Discord server. I've heard they're super nice over there.
GG's again, sir. Good run.
Thank you guys for commentating. It was a lot of
It
fun.
was fun.
My favorite part now is still the Intangier.
Yes, I can't believe Medio missed. I should have muddled Realm.
So good.
If you want to see more sketch glitch stuff that does it a little bit differently, and all characters in Esper's run uses it very differently, because we can't just skip a whole bunch of this because we need to. If you did this, you'd miss out on Shadow and such. So there's a lot of different uses of the glitch in that run.
Yeah, this was just one use of the sketch glitch. Sketch glitch, like Dyne said before, has like 8,000 different outcomes. This was just one of them. You can do so many wild things with this glitch.
Man, I just realized we actually have to give credit for Locke for this run now, because he dodged that Medio.
Yeah, he pulled out the clutch right at the good moment.
Merchant Skin pulls through again.